radio station in Tallahassee, so that's good news. And we appreciate it. We also appreciate you if you're watching right now on Warchant TV on the YouTube feed. Appreciate that. That too is local. Appreciate that very, very, very much. And it's good to be with you because here we sit, guys. Here we sit. 25 days until the start of college. Well, it's 25 days, 23 hours. I always take the cheat and shortcut. And, once you get less than 24 hours from the next, I'm jumping to that next day, damn it. So 25 days and 23 hours until the start of college football, which is absolutely mind-boggling. It's happening. Perhaps a better way to have led the day instead of mentioning that time, the day, all that stuff. Maybe I should have just mentioned that tomorrow is the coaches' luncheon. That in my inbox, in Tom's inbox, and anybody who covers this program inbox today, we got a couple of things. We got the obligatory Castellanos name to the Maxwell Award watch list. So is every quarterback in the country to start the year. But we also got, and that's not a shot, that's just true. Early, these preseason awards, anybody is nominated. But we also got the official start, and I always look at it this way, of Florida State's season gets underway. In the official capacity that Mike Norvell is in as of tomorrow, it begins with this event, another chapter in his career and another season for Florida State football. It is the coach's luncheon. These go back to Bobby Bowden doing luncheons, and this goes back to, obviously, Jimbo. And I've been at all these lunches, and we've been to, Willie's brief tenure here had a luncheon as well. And Mike has had one every year too. And this begins tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., 4th floor, Varsity Club, Moore Athletic Center. Coach Norvell will address the media. He'll talk about the hopes and dreams and expectations and the players that are here now who report tomorrow to the practice facility. And, Wednesday, it all gets started. I don't know. There's a part of me that if I could run into these players, and now they're paid, and there are a lot of great things about being a college football player, especially at a great place like Florida State. But admittedly, I would not want to be them tomorrow. I would not want to be them on Wednesday, as we are looking at the, hottest 2 or 3 days of the year by far, not even close. The whole state is melting. God help you if you're sitting in the state of Florida, anywhere in this state currently. And the Southeast is just getting its ass whipped by the sun. It's brutal. And having to, even if you're one of those guys who gets pumped up for the start of practice, I never was. Because practice is hard. It's laborious. It's hot. It gets old very quickly. Very, very quickly. But even if you're one of those gung-ho, can't wait, what an opportunity, as Mike Norvell would point out, what an opportunity we have to get together and exert ourselves to the point of exhaustion and cramp up and feel as if we're about to puke. Isn't that awesome? If you're one of those types, you're not going to be exuberant for very long. I think you're going to get like a minute into jogging, maybe in place, and go, I don't think we should do it, guys. I think we should wait till next week, or could we do this in the indoor? Can we do this like in that ice truck that they have over there where everybody gets to go in between periods? Like at the halfway mark of Florida State practices, they go into this giant fridge, which they didn't have back in the day. Amazing, that you just get to walk in there and immediately get your body temperature lowered excessively. I mean, it happens fast. And they demand those guys get in there. Can we have practice in that thing? That's what I would be asking, especially if I was a fat body. If you are an offense or defensive lineman, can you imagine this? Anyhow, buck up, soldier. That's what you chose to do. For the rest of us, we'll observe from afar. I'm just excited that it's starting. It's happening. We get to interview Mike, which we just did. I probably won't say a word to Mike other than, hey, good to see you again. But
hi, Jeff. Good morning.
Mike, he just did that. I just interviewed him. I just talked to Mike. We're tired of each other. I don't need to see Mike tomorrow.
30 seconds.
I don't. But all the assistants will be there, and I do want to talk to them because we don't get that many opportunities these days to talk to the assistants. So it is that we will do that tomorrow, and I want to talk. Hey, I like talking to Tony White. I can tell you that. He says something. The OC doesn't say a thing. His prerogative. Doesn't say anything. A whole lot of jibber-jabber nonsense. But I
wonder if I'm going to catch that assignment tomorrow if I do again. I got some weird questions I can ask. I just have some fun with it.
It'll be funny if you do. I mean,
What'd you have for dinner last night?
You should talk like him to him.
That's what yeah. What was for dinner?
Well, I'm going to talk to, and listen, we get a chance. Those guys, a lot of those guys will sit down across from you and have during lunch a candid conversation about expectations. So here we sit. It's been a minute since I've been in studio, and it feels good today. Little rundown. We'll get through. We'll be all right. Be ready to go by tomorrow.
If you could choose one, Gus, only music exists or only movies exist, which would it be?
25 days, 23 hours until the start of college football. And hell, for that matter, if you just need to see people dressed up like football players doing football things, you get to this week. It's happening. The Los Angeles Chargers are taking on the Detroit Lions, 8 p.m., NBC or Peacock. And you'll get to see it Thursday at 8 p.m. Is that worth a raising of the glass? Is that anything?
It's worth a check-in for exactly one play. That's my rule. I said I go for one play. I hear the whistle, and then I hear Collinsworth go, oh, this is a really big year for Dan. I'm like, click. All right, we're done. I don't need that. No, thank you.
Well, one of the great barriers to fall in my lifetime is the barrier that existed for a very long time, even amongst out-of-the-closet gamblers. So early on, I had no shame. I was proud of who I was. I told my listeners when it wasn't popular, I like to gamble. It's fun. I bet all kinds of hard-earned money on games and players and the results of events. It's my GD money, and I'll do it because I'm an adult, and you can't shame me. I don't care. I'll bet on anything. Softball, tennis, soccer, baseball, certainly football, boxing, MMA, paddleball, pickleball, anything. And obviously, I have been with the ping pong, done pretty well for myself. Got a system. But for years, you could not admit that you bet or wanted to bet on preseason football, Tom. You just could not do it. It was a bridge too far.
Hey, look, I remember the segment in the Revelation, and I was shook for a week. I thought, are we going to have a problem here? Is Jeff going to come in one day to work and say, hey, man, can you spot me 20? I'm like, preseason football. But then you explained your methods.
And I had a system, and we won a lot of money together.
And a lot of times, people in the chat, this even preceded the move to Warchant, but it was known so much so that when we were on the chat, Warchant TV, first time, first preseason, people found you and said, hey, Jeff, Ravens preseason tonight, buddy.
Harbaugh cares deeply was what we created, a phrasing. Harbaugh cares deeply. And so it is that we had a system and we went, let's go. No reason not to make money when it's free. Harbaugh was an ATM for us. We're like, he's going to win these preseason games in a way that his compatriots will not. Do not share the enthusiasm that he has for such a thing.
This is about a 6-year ATM.
Yeah, it was. Anyhow, so I know it got broke at some point. It was broken. Somebody did beat him finally. It was an unbelievable preseason run. They should have a plaque in the facility. 4 years undefeated preseason. Like it can't be amongst the ones that matter, but it's just somewhere near the bathrooms.
He has 24 games in a row, 6 years worth
Yeah.
of winning. I think, it needs to be in the front. That's a reception area, a green room, because that's what the preseason is. It is the reception area of the season.
Yeah. David, I would too normally, except that I won 24 consecutive times with Harbaugh in the preseason. There's nothing you can bet on and win 24 consecutive times except for my man Harbaugh and the Ravens. So we were able to crash through the barrier and the shame associated with placing real wagers on preseason football. So if you want to, just so you know, Detroit's favored by 1 on Thursday. Tom, I looked. I'm not going to do it, but I looked.
So he says on a Monday. We'll see on Thursday. Hey, I heard something. I caught a nugget, guys.
Well, you know what you do? You look for reps. You're looking for reps. Like how many starts are any of the starters or second stringers going to get? So you're scouring the local papers in those markets and just kind of looking for anything where in passing a coach might say to a beat reporter, yeah, I think Jones will get about 5 reps on Friday. You're like, well, okay, let's go check some over. He's getting 5. They're going to give him the ball.
6.5 yards.
Yeah.
That's it.
We're going over, baby. Let's go. Then I'm texting you going, there it is. 2 carries, 7 yards for Jones. Get him out.
Well, that's where you're worried if there's 5 reps and now the backup O-line's in for the second series. You're like, don't you do it.
Hey, you know what? You ask this all the time this week. You ask this question to me every year. You've asked this question to me recently. You asked me this question when I was in Charlotte, and I tend to share in this just because we all have these deep down in our guts, way down deep in the cockles, where we're willing to admit some days you feel very good about the prospects of your favorite football team and program, and other days you come in and you're feeling a little down in the dumps. You're feeling a little negative, a little. You're kind of lamenting. Yeah, forlorn is a good word. You're right. Yeah, you're mournful in a way sometimes, and you don't want to admit that. It's not good. I haven't even played a game. Let it go, Jeff. Let's move on. Let's be positive here. But I don't like being positive for the sake of being positive. I like being positive when I have evidence and reason to be positive.
Yeah, but you can have a great day if you want to.
Yes, you could. Actually, that's my favorite thing Willie ever did. The have a great day if you want to, what he would say as he walked away from the podium or from the mics there at practice. I actually liked that. That was fine. That always put a smile on my face. Nothing resonates well when you're losing. Not a coach saying, have a great day if you want to. Well, I'd have a better day if we didn't suck. And, it doesn't work real well either when you talk about opportunity after your 5th straight loss. Well, we'll get another opportunity on Saturday. Yes, to get our head kicked in again, Mike. So, those things don't work when you're not winning, but just judging them for what they were, I kind of like it.
I'm surprised the hydration rereading of the transcript back to the press wasn't number 1 on your list. That wasn't your favorite thing?
No, that was embarrassing. But I want to get back to the point. I had a lot of time in a vehicle lately. More time than people should be in vehicles. Too much time in a vehicle. I have gone from Charlotte back to Tallahassee, immediately from Tallahassee down to Bradenton, Sarasota, St. Pete, and Tampa. It's a mixture of fun and work and just a bunch of things. And I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm back here. This is it.
You're living out the Matt Millard dream of being a trucker.
No. Yeah. And I thought about this. I thought about it while I was driving yet again for long periods of time, exhausting my entertainment options. I finished my books. I finished the new records I wanted to hear. I heard a bunch of pods that I needed to catch up on. I'd done it all, Tom. I was out of it. I re-listened to a record I hadn't heard in 30 years. Just, you know what? Let's go back and revisit that one.
The Kinks?
No, I listen to the Kinks frequently. But so anyhow, the point would be I had done it all. And then I thought, what do truckers do? Oh, good God, besides meth. and hookers at truck stops. What do? I mean, it's a tough go.
I considered bringing up the word hookers. I'm like, hey, he'll do it on his own. And you sure did.
So it's brutal. It's brutal because then you're trapped and you're tired, you're beleaguered. But it gave me a chance to really kind of lock in on where my head's at with the team and what I think they will be. And again, it's all projection right now. We don't know. Nobody does. We do have evidence of what these players who've been brought in to start for Florida State or projected to start for Florida State, we have evidence of what they've been in their collegiate careers. And I'll tell you this, that if you just do it that way, if you just look at the evidence of what these players are or are not in their college careers so far, I feel like it's a pretty solid team.
Oh, okay.
I have question marks on defense. I'm worried about it. I'm excited about the system, and somewhat of the system and the enthusiasm and the coaching might offset some of the concerns about depth or talent or size that I have. So whenever I have those concerns and I'm betting those, I do think, well, they're going to play a hell of a lot faster. They're going to swarm to the ball. We know those two things are going to be true, and that can help offset some of your warts. Playing fast, playing hard, and hitting people can offset a lot on defense. Defense is an awful lot about want to. An awful lot about want to. You have to have a clue, but it's an awful lot about want to. And then I flip it to the offensive side, and I think about what those offensive linemen that project to start have been in their careers. And while they aren't a collection of future first-round draft picks, they are a collection of guys that have had success at a high level. They've played well in either the ACC or the SEC. They've mostly played pretty well. And if you think about what that offensive line was a year ago, the disaster and the regression, the brutal reality by week 2 that they were not better, they were not good, they weren't anything approaching the projections of the preseason from the head coach on down. They were going to be the bane of your existence. And then you had an immobile quarterback who clearly got hurt in camp and was even slower than he had ever been, which was never very fast. And so you realize this is doomed. But there's nothing like that looming large over this team right now. There are some ominous moments on the schedule that concern you, Alabama being one of them in game number 1. But I do think it's a solid group. Like, I'm going to guess that Gavin Sawchuk is healthy and is going to play in a similar manner to the way he played for Oklahoma when he was healthy and when he started. And by the way, he was productive when he did that. You bring in Croma, who's gotten a lot of praise this summer as being a guy who looks like he can contribute right away. He's already well over 200 pounds, big, strong kid. I don't know how many carries a game he'll get, but put him in the neighborhood early in the season of 4 to 8 carries a game. Okay, you got a little contributor there. Now, Lord knows that room is as deep as it gets. Now, they're not great players, but you've got enough bodies if anybody needs a breather, a respite. Yes, we believe Deuce is going to be good. I have concerns at quarterback, but I think the system suits what he does. So, okay, some of those concerns are alleviated because they're placating to what he can do. I love the tight end room. I really like the starting tight end. I don't know. I think they're pretty solid, Tom. I ruminated quite a bit on this.
Clearly.
I did. I thought about it more and more. I think they're pretty solid.
Well, when you lay out the lineup, in a 2-deep setting, when you lay out the lineup as you face most opponents, you're like, weaknesses, probably general mediocrity would be the weakness. But it's not like you're pointing to one position group and you go, they're awful there. You know what I mean? Like there's a big difference between looking at a lineup and saying, oh God, they're awful at this position. I don't know how they're going to mask that they're awful at this position because opponents are just going to pick on this and there's nothing you could do about it. If you lay out Florida State's starters across the board, even at safety, a position of great concern to me, it still isn't as bad as I think it is in my head at safety. I don't think it's as bad as I'm envisioning, which is a doomsday scenario of just getting, beaten over the top. Because Edwin Joseph could be in that conversation and Shaheem Brown's going to be in that conversation. And, well, he'll be near to the line of scrimmage at times. But we know Earl Little is certainly at Rover going to be near the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
When you lay it all out there, it's not that bad. And quickly, as an aside, as you were going on the bit about the trucker, I just had this beautiful thought of a trucker who's never heard of us, on I-10 eastbound
Listening to
the
this
stations. He hears your take and he just laughs. He goes, "Yep, that's me," because he knows who he is. I like this guy.
Oh man, it's I did have plenty of time to think, and most of the time, if I eschewed some of my initial impulse negativity, I was able to kind of, okay, all right, I can see where this will be a decent team. And if they're a decent team given the schedule, yeah, 9-3 is possible. I'm more likely to bet a different result than 9-3. I'd lean closer to 8-4 or 7-5.
But it would be nice to live in a world where that is not absurd to think. Like, you know, you get to see the first 2-3 quarters of the game against Bama and go, oh, no, okay.
Yeah,
All
I can
right.
live with this. Yeah.
This group could win 9 games. They could.
It's my sincere hope that is the case. By the way, really excited. My friends at Tried and True Consulting, 3 new businesses reaching out, having listened to the Jeff Cameron show and hearing about other businesses doing business with Tried and True and how it is that Tried and True has come into this community, saved a lot of folks money, made folks money, given some of that money that they've made off their new clients to the Battle's End, which is still a necessity in these times to make up for what rev share doesn't do. And, you've heard about the ad boards, but obviously they're a payments processing company. And I have said many times, you just care when it comes to those who process your payments, that it's safe, it's legal, and that it's cost effective. That's the case when you talk to John, Don, Joe, or Rusty. Tried and True Consulting, you see it flash up on your screen there. Give them a call or do the little thingity-do. Is that thing up there? Do we have that thing?
I'm pulling that thing up. With the migration, it got lost in the migration.
It got lost in the migration. Everything got lost. We temporarily, for the folks out there, migrated from one system to another for like a day. For a day. And then we were like, oh, no, we like the other system.
It was going to be forever, except it wasn't.
Yeah, it was not. Give them a call today. 844-464-6653. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mole. Or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Let me tell you, as a homeowner, I used to dread every rainstorm. Water would flow around the outside of my home, my yard, and the gutters would clog and overflow. I'd have to make sure I had buckets and duct tape ready every time. Then I called New Vision Gutters, and I can see the difference. Now I sleep through the storms. No puddles, no leaks, no clogs, no stress. If you've got water problems, trust me. Call the pros at New Vision Gutters, where they take pride and passion in protecting your most valuable possessions. It's the MVP treatment and the best call I ever made.
No matter what printing you need to keep your business running, we can help. Hi, Jason Butera here for The Printery. Reduce your stress and give us a call. From new product brochures or posters to yard signs, postcards, even letterhead and envelopes. The Printery sets the standard in personalized service with outstanding results. We offer full-service graphic design and free pickup and delivery. The Printery, home of 36-cent color copies. If it's ink on paper, we've got it covered. Call us today, 877-6418. 877-6418.
Siri, tell me a joke. If your house is cold, just stand in the corner. It's always 90 degrees.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Right now in Infinity of Tallahassee, get 0% financing on all 2025 Infinities for 36 months. But it gets better. 0% for 60 months on QX60. That's right, 0% on every single new Infinity on the lot and only at Infinity of Tallahassee.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Wde Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Wde Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Wde's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wde Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Wde Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on, Big River, switching it up today a little bit. Ira normally joins us in hour number 2 on Mondays for his regular appearance. Hey, we moved it up. We were so excited. We went all right. In actuality, I think he has a dentist appointment. But he's going to join us right now. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com, on the program as he's wont to do Mondays. Hello, Ira. I do not hear Ira.
His phone got disconnected. Let me.
We will.
I will call him.
He
right
said,
back.
"Screw it." Hung up. I'm not going early, Cameron.
Give me that Novocaine.
Everybody I know is going to the dentist over the next 2 days. I missed the memo, thankfully. I can claim ignorance. We'll try to get Ira back. I bet you he's optimistic. He's generally optimistic. He was up in Charlotte with me, and we both had the same opportunities to talk to players and coaches and media types up there and get a sense of the league. I know this, if Florida State's any good at all, the rest of the league will be very surprised based on the conversations that I had with folks. But let's try this again. I'll even do the introduction again. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com, joins us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Hello, Ira. How are you, brother?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I just got done telling the audience that I've been doing a lot of driving lately. I know we both have. And it gave me a lot of time to contemplate about the season. And I actually came away with my latest trip feeling bullish. Not bullish, but good, positive. The day before, the coach's luncheon, I'm in a good mood. I think the team is a solid team as we sit here today. Do you feel that way on the day before the coach's luncheon?
I like to hear it, man. Anything above dread, I think is a good thing. I do. I mean, I think the thing I've probably kind of honed in on, I think probably the trip, driving up there, driving back, is, how much of this really is just going to depend on whether or not the Tommy Castellanos move was the right move and how he does. And because they've clearly put a lot of pieces around him, some nice pieces around him. I think defensively, I feel good about what I'm hearing about Tony White and his scheme and what they're going to do on that side of the ball. So I really think if Tommy makes plays, which we know he's going to make plays, if he doesn't lose you games with the big mistakes, I really think that's going to determine whether or not this is a 7 or a 9 or 10 win season. I mean, I hate to put it all on one guy, but I really think it's going to be that kind of team because his offense, with him running the offense, I just think it's going to be some boom and bust.
Yeah, I don't know how your conversations in Charlotte with him went. My conversation with him, it left Tom and I feeling better about him. We were more down on him before Charlotte than we are now, because he actually showed a more humanity. He was with us. He understood some of the criticisms of his game. He seemed to take it in stride, what happened to some degree at Boston College. Now, he did I wouldn't say get defensive, but he tried to further explain himself in that situation in BC. But he seemed more human and less bombastic when he sat across when I interviewed him anyhow. And it seemed like he had a decent head on his shoulders when I talked to him in Charlotte, and that encouraged me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, if you're doing a checklist of all the things you want in a quarterback, I really think he's got a lot of them. I mean, is he perfect? Does he say exactly what you'd want him to say every time? Probably not. But that's just who he is, and you just have to take the good with the bad. The thing I would say though is, the part of it is that nobody knows, and I listen, I know Mike Norvell's very confident in him. I think Gus Malzahn's really excited about him. I think that there's a lot of players on the team that are excited about him. But what we don't know, and we won't know until the games start, is he's back in a system where it's all going to be on him. And now he's got better talent around him, but he still is going to be of the mindset of, I got to go make plays. I've got to go, I've got to win this football game for us to have a chance. And so that's going to lead to, okay, how do you handle that? Do you take the 5-yard run when it's there? Do you take the check down? Or are you always trying to make the big play? And, and again, I'm sure they've been coaching that. They've been talking about it. But I don't know if anybody really knows until you get into those games. I don't know if Tommy knows. He may change going back to that kind of an offense from what it was 2 years ago for him at Boston College. Well, now he does have better weapons around him. So maybe he'll make that adjustment. But I don't know if any of us can really know until we see it.
Do we know, Ira? I mean, I know tomorrow we're both going to be at the luncheon. And we'll get to hear from Mike Norvell again. We just did. I think we're probably, and this isn't a knock on Mike, but we just talked to him. I think we're probably more excited to talk to these assistant coaches that'll be there tomorrow. And we do that every year and usually glean some pretty interesting nuggets. Do we know practice schedule and or access? Just kind of curious. It's not one of these angst-ridden things. Do we know, is it a carryover from what was in the spring, or are they going to allow greater access this go around in the fall?
We don't know yet. I still believe we're going to get something. We got one scrimmage in the spring. My guess is we'll get a couple things, maybe a few. But maybe they're trying to iron out which days they feel comfortable with. I don't think it's going to go back to what it was before, probably. I also don't think we're going to be totally locked out for 4 weeks. That would be pretty extreme, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as far as, talking to the coaches, yeah, that's going to be awesome because really we didn't get, a closing spring. I don't think we really got a chance to talk to a bunch of the assistant coaches after the spring. It's going to be good to hear from Tim Harris about Deuce and Squirrel. It's going to be good to hear about. It's certainly going to be good to hear from David Johnson about Croma and Sawchuk, since neither of them was here for the spring. So, yeah, man, I'm excited about getting to talk to those guys. And practice will start Wednesday. My guess is, looking at last year's schedule, they practiced the first few days in a row. So my guess is they'll be practicing Wednesday through the weekend. But yeah, we haven't heard about access yet.
I would practice at 5 a.m. if I were them, based on the fact that it's 105.
It's a little warm. It's a little warm out there.
Go to your dentist appointment. Normally I'd keep you longer, but I know you got an appointment. I appreciate you jumping in here, brother. And the Smash tonight, right?
Yes, sir. We're good. Thanks, man.
All right, brother. Be good. You can hear Ira tonight on the Smash with T. Lizzie over here. He mentioned Squirrel White there and kind of getting information about them and Deuce and really any of the receivers for that matter. Squirrel's a big deal if he's healthy, because he's really been a proven player and brings a different element to this offense. And he's a guy that, was very productive 2 years ago. If he's returned to that form and that health, it does add a dynamic to the offense that maybe I was a little cynical of. I didn't know whether or not I should pour my hope and heart and belief into Squirrel White because I didn't know how healthy he was going to be. And if he's right, if he's back to what he was 2 years ago at Tennessee, you got another guy who's been very good in a tough league.
I just like how he works for the ball. He works back to it. He works for it. He's not a receiver who needs the ball to be placed somewhere perfectly. And if it isn't, you won't see the requisite effort to go fight and make a play. This offense is going to have such odd timing at times. Just think about how Wake Forest ran its offense under
with the mesh concept.
Yeah. Well, and the timing of that can be anything. If you're a receiver, you kind of have to be alert for quick throws, continue to run your route, for a full second and a half, 2 seconds before the ball comes your way. This isn't going to be quite that extreme with Gus Malzahn, but if you're a receiver, there's a little bit more of a dynamic to it than I need you to take 6 strides and then cut in and the ball's going to be waiting on you. It's not Jimbo Fisher's pro-style offense with sight adjusts. There's going to be some odd timing where you have to understand that and be willing to fight. And Squirrel does have that toughness to him. And if he's healthy, that's great. It's going to be an asset.
It's got to be very strange. I don't think about it too often because we haven't run those kinds of offenses in the past. But you're right. You were talking about Clausen's offense.
Thank you, Clausen.
But, Dave, good old Dave, who I actually oddly kind of liked just for the willingness to admit when they had the worst offensive line in the country. The question was like, you guys have had a hard time up front. Hard time? I think I saw the stat. We're the worst in all of college football.
Well, he understood the job that he took. He finally left it.
Yeah.
But, that thing that we talked about when Laux took the job, at least he knows what he's saying yes to. Like, Clausen knew what Wake Forest was, and
he turned him around.
And he was willing to just discuss that out in the open.
Yes, especially that element, the one that aspect that was causing them so much heartache week after week. No, we don't run. We haven't run too many gimmicky offenses, I wouldn't say. But, and I would kind of, it's a college offense, what we're running now for sure. And you're right. Timing gets all kinds of disrupted. You have to have receivers that are willing to do a lot of things. And that includes block, obviously, big time in the run game, block for their fellow receivers, and fight for the ball, come back with disjointed timing. You're right.
Disjointed timing, and also a quarterback who's going to hit you on the wrong shoulder. That's the other thing, that not every quarterback is going to place it perfectly in stride.
No.
Tommy, less than most. So you have to know the quarterback that you're working with. This receiving core better be ready to adjust on the fly, body control, all that contorting, all that kind of stuff. It's not that Tommy is terribly inaccurate, but if you're doing a spectrum of chip in the bricks to Peyton Manning, he's closer to the chip in the bricks than he is Peyton Manning. So as a receiver, you need to know that.
Yeah, those are both extremes, and I would not expect him to live in those neighborhoods. Like, I don't need him chipping the bricks, and I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to be precision accurate, future Hall of Fame NFL quarterback. I just think he needs to be somewhere closer to the norm, the middle there, and we'll be all right. And I think he will be.
Well, it's the modern equivalent, or the offensive equivalent, I should say, to a safety going for a jog. Is a receiver, and the ball's not perfect, and you can tell that they're not going to go up and fight for the ball.
Yeah.
We had some guys like that over the last few years, and it's nice to not. And Squirrel is not one of those.
Yeah, and listen, you got a tight end it's got a little nastiness to him too, and he'll fight and be very, very physical. So there's some things that I like about what they do have in the skill positions. Pitch a penny pools and spas. Now you can do the cold plunge. Those tubs, all the rage. They've got them. Is that a new one?
It's a new one. Well, we got wiped out, so I'm finding new things.
I like that one, actually, but it's not as good as the other one. Oh, that's good. People driving down the road. What's good? What are you talking about? We're talking about
savings at Pinch a Penny. That's
the
what we're talking
savings
about.
at Pinch a Pennies and how cute these otters are. So if you have an older hot tub and you want to replace it, they'll come get that old hot tub, haul it away for you, give you some money towards the new hot tub. Or as I was just saying, they have the cold plunge tubs now, and the health benefits now scientifically proven. You get an opportunity to check those out as well. And you have to know that given what Hot Springs has done in the past, and they are in the market, the very best in the business, that they're not going to slap their name on one of those things without them having done their due diligence and put in the work and developed one of the best new cold plunge tubs on the market, if not the best. Go check them out for yourself. They're off of Greer Road, and you can find out how easy it is and affordable it is to be healthy and to engage in luxury. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 7 p.m. tonight. Slight chance for storms this afternoon. Otherwise, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 101. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 80. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 92 degrees.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASE trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Looking to upgrade your backyard, your business, or even your life? Then you've got to check out Southeast Portable Buildings right here in Tallahassee.
That's right. Southeast Portable Buildings has everything. Sheds, cabins, carports, and now beautiful decks to go with them.
Imagine a brand new storage building and a deck out front. Perfect for that morning coffee or for your family gatherings.
Need something custom? No problem. They'll work with you to find exactly what fits your needs. Big or small, simple or stylish.
And with easy financing options, you can make your dream space happen sooner than you think.
Southeast Portable Buildings, where you're not just getting a building, you're getting a lifestyle upgrade. Give our friends a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400.
Southeast Portable Buildings.
Big buildings.
Big decks.
Big dreams.
Southeast Portable Buildings on West Tennessee Street, just north of Capitol Circle in Tallahassee. There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right,
yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape, and but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Outside of Florida State's program, there was some college football chatter this morning that started with the idea that it sounded like, I think in retrospect, due to at the time, forthcoming press conference, it sounded like Deion Sanders was going to retire from Colorado. Now, call me cynical and jaded. I saw those rumors and went, oh, you don't say. But later we found out it was more about some of his health issues and health battles, and so I was less jaded. I certainly don't wish ill will from a health standpoint on people. Well, unless you're like a serial killer or something. But anyhow, his health battles are well documented and has been something that, has had him greatly concerned and caused him to miss a lot of time in Boulder. But apparently he's okay. He had bladder cancer. He underwent 14 surgeries, including a bladder removal. That is something. That is scary. That is unsettling to say the least. Sanders, for his part, said the process wasn't easy. And he said, it's been very difficult. Went on to talk about how thankful he is to the doctors. But he seems to think that they're past the bladder cancer for now. And he's lost 25 pounds and dealing with an awful lot of stuff that were difficult. He wants to be transparent in the process. You can read more. I'm not going to go through the entire transcript of the press conference and the conversation, but certainly don't wish that on anybody. And I hope he is cleared and I hope he is okay. And we'll go back to Boulder and be able to coach this year.
I was talking to somebody who saw him down in the Tampa area recently because one of his sons is trying to catch on with the Buccaneers.
Yeah. And
what I heard was he was moving incredibly slowly. So this now makes a whole lot of sense. I was told he looked like he was a very old man moving around, and that would probably do it. Bladder cancer and
Scary.
surgeries to address it. That is that's horrifying.
So we update you on one former Nole, and there's another update, and this one is very positive. It is, can you believe it, Tommy? Lahi Wde wins in her LPGA debut as a pro. She wins the Scottish Open, and she stares down some of the best in the world in the process, and at one point got caught, was even, and then promptly birdied, I think it was 14 and 15, and put herself in position to win. She closes it out. We had Lahi on the show here after she won the amateur there with at the Masters. After finishing, was it third in her in the first tournament she played earlier this year? I think she finished third, tied for third, or was it tied for second?
So there's a lot of things. I mean, like she's won an event already before this one, which was like a Euro Tour event. She finished third at the Evian as an amateur, and that was the one that qualified her with enough LPGA points.
That's the one
pro.
I was talking about. She finished third in that, and that's a major. So
yeah.
to finish tied for third in that, and this was her first as a pro on the LPGA.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now you've got the Women's Open this week. So she finished third in a major against the best
as an amateur.
And she just missed a 10-footer on 18 that could have gotten her. I think that would have qualified her for the playoff. So you're right there. Then you win this one in impressive fashion, and now you've got another major coming up this week. This is starting to get spooky, man.
She's only the third woman to win her debut on the LPGA Tour. Her pro debut. And now, admittedly, one of the others just did it 2 years ago. Rosang did it.
Yeah, that was out in New York or New Jersey.
Yeah, she did it. But prior to that, Tom, so we talk about 2025 and 2023. Prior to that, it was 1951. And there's only 3 to ever do it. And what's interesting is, so Amy Bond, her coach at FSU, speaks glowingly of her and all of her players for that matter. And I had a good chance to talk with Amy Bond about her. And then we had Lahi on the show, of course. And one of the things that I noticed is that she really just doesn't take herself too seriously. And she has the right kind of demeanor, I would think, to handle these sorts of things. Like you never get a sense of nerves with her. It's amazing to me.
So she's 55 under par in her last 3 events with 2 wins and a 3rd place in a major. And you're right. The thing I like about her the most is she's so terribly awkward when she's interviewed because she understands how absurd the interview process is. Like you could tell she's thinking about it on a higher level, and it makes me giggle every time because she was getting interviewed after the Evian. She's not in the playoffs, and now she can do the interview. And the guy, Tom Abbott, who's been working in that field forever on the LPGA circuit, he's like, so what do you think about your performance? And she's just like trying not to laugh. She's like, this is just
what I do.
Wild. It's weird. She's like, yeah, I thought I played pretty well. I hope to play well again next week. And he's like, okay, thank you, Lahi, for your time. And she's like, you're a strange man. I like that. It's just refreshing. It's very authentic.
Yeah, her disposition is a fun one. And it's somebody that anyhow, I mean, obviously she's English, but she is a Nole and was here for the last 3 years and was great. And at one time was the number 1 ranked amateur in the world till her teammate surpassed her briefly.
Well, college ranking, yeah. And she was right there.
Yeah. So it's very, very cool to watch. And we got a Nole now who seems to be as cool, calm, and collected as one can possibly be in the face of what is somebody having overwhelming success this early in her career. She won $300,000 on Sunday, buddy.
That'll do.
Well, in your pro debut, when you come from a modest background, middle class background, and she does, and you don't know, when should I turn pro? What do I do? I've got some sponsors who are interested, but it's not life altering money just yet. Do I stay in college? You're kicking around an awful lot. There's a lot to consider. You got agents calling you. You got, obviously brands and different groups.
I'm sure in this case, too, there would have been a nice rev share or NIL package for her if she stayed for the next year. Yeah, so it's not like it's a $0 versus a 6-figure thing.
Yeah, as much as there's going to be lucrative rev shares for women's golfers.
I agree. I'm just saying that she would be one of the people in the world that would actually qualify for such a thing.
She would. It still would be pennies compared to what she's going to make on the tour.
Now that she's winning.
Yeah, and so here you go. just like that, your fears, your concerns of how you're going to make it. Because I learned a lot over the years with people who turned pro, that one of your great concerns, like initially you get an influx of money with sponsors, and if you're good enough and well thought of enough, you might get a Nike contract or something like that, and you're gonna be all right. But not for long. You gotta, it's a meritocracy out there. You gotta win. You gotta get your tour card. You gotta, you gotta make it happen. And you're under a lot of pressure to do that. And you're on your own dime when you go to these hotels and when you fly, when you do all these things. That's all on you. So to win $300,000 out the gates, like, we're gonna be all right here, gang.
And it's making, waves in national sports conversation and in the game of golf. I've heard her name now brought up twice on the men's side during the broadcast. Does everybody see what Lahi Wde's doing over there on the LPGA circuit? It's unbelievable exposure for this program, which is great.
It continues to get unbelievable exposure. They just got to cash in the chip.
I know.
They just got to cash in the chip. They keep getting yeses and big names, and they're flooding the LPGA and PGA Tour with players. Just got to get the elusive chip. Hour number 2, fourth coming. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase, or renew your...
Big difference between looking at a lineup and saying,
Available only at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Cold plunges reduce muscle soreness, boost mood, improve sleep, and so much more. It's not just a trend, it's science-backed wellness, and now you can have it in your own home. Ready to feel alive again? Pinch a Penny has the exclusive home use solution. Visit us on Capitol Circle Northeast and take the plunge.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers making a couple of roster moves over the weekend, signing 2 offensive linemen in Michael Jordan and also Tyler McClellan. They had 1 roster spot open, And then they have waived tackle Silas Janzi with an injury designation to create room for the other new addition. Going to baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays lose to the Cincinnati Reds yesterday 2-1 as Tampa Bay's lost 4 straight and 10 of their last 13. They are back at 500 at 53-53. They played the Yankees tonight. Drew Rasmussen on the mound. The Marlins lose to the Brewers yesterday 3-2, but still took 2 of 3 in that series. Up next for the Marlins, a 3-game series in St. Louis against the Cardinals. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Kiani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips
is all the different sauces we can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite, I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
When it's time to honor a life well lived, trust Cornerstone Memorials. Experts in creating meaningful memorials with generations of care and craftsmanship. We help you create a lasting tribute to your loved ones. Cornerstone Memorials creates custom designed headstones, mausoleums, detailed stone engraving, and more. Visit cornerstonememorials.org or call today to speak with a compassionate expert. Cornerstone Memorials, honoring life and preserving legacy.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby!
See? Remix!
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Players reporting On Tuesday, practice begins on Wednesday, and away we go. Hall of Fame game Thursday, and we're off. By the way, some questions during the break. Basically, some folks asked whether or not they were hearing a conversation between you and me. You know, that would have been you and John, I guess, Tom. And I guess that got fixed, or it didn't. I don't know.
I'm about to investigate. But yes, we were talking about processing, and there's some differences in the processor. So
thankfully, you weren't talking about anything salacious. It's just good old processing.
Yeah, because some processing has been changed. So we're discussing that. I'm not sure how the hell that would have
gone out over the airwaves.
Well, the YouTube only. That would have only been.
I'm also glad I wasn't in the room because I've been known to have a potty mouth, and I may have sprinkled in some descriptors. By the way, the other thing that I saw in the chat was a question about, do they practice outside instead of the indoor practice facility mainly? And also, will they be in pads on Wednesday? No, they will not be in pads on Wednesday. The way practice works when they come in, those first few days, they're not in pads. They have to slowly, it's an acclamation period that they talk of. And so you don't just get them in there and throw them in pads. It's funny because all NFL camps are underway right now. And NFL fans are already day by day kind of watching very closely whether or not you get through said acclamation period in camp. Gets underway, you get excited, but you also get nervous because you don't want to lose any important pieces before the year ever begins. It's a hard enough and lengthy enough season in the NFL to get through it with the core of what makes you good. And so you're just holding your breath. And already, there have been announced injuries in the NFL, including Arizona Cardinals had both corners go down, including one that's a starter, and he may be done for the year.
Oh, my Lord.
It's a toughie. We lost our first pick in the 4th round.
Yeah, defensive end.
Yeah. He's outside linebacker / defensive end, out for the year. Disappointing. He was a tackling Jesse in college, led the country in tackling.
Yes, he was the FCS Player of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's disappointing. But this is the kind of stuff that happens. Anyhow, I know that I get excited about the return to practice this week, but I do just kind of hold my breath because if you think about it, we've watched guys get hurt. And a lot of times the more significant injuries that happen are non-contact injuries. They're just guys trying to get back in shape. It does involve an awful lot of running, sprinting, that kind of stuff. And it can happen. That's the game. So you just, again, when you're not a particularly deep team, and I don't think Florida State is all that deep. If we just talk about overall starting prowess talent, I don't think they're that deep on either side of the ball. So you juxtapose the need to be more physical and more violent and to prepare yourself for that style of play with also wanting to make sure you get through it. And I think that's the hardest thing. You worry about it time and again. So we are all set, though, and we are all excited about what's going to happen. And I don't know if you caught this. It did make me laugh. But when I was prepping on Sunday and, I hadn't gotten a lot of the quotes out yet from the Big Ten and Petiti and what he's trying to do. If you go back, it's not kind of surprising that the Big Ten continues to be at odds with the SEC about the format and what they would like to see happen. They want 4. They're just trying to rig the playoff. That's the way you would say this. They're trying to rig the playoffs so that they get 4 guaranteed, no matter what, whether they've earned it or not. They want 4 guaranteed. And the way they tried to set it up was 4 and 4 and then 2 and 2. And listen, basically exclusionary is what they want the playoffs to be.
Well, yeah, they want the standings in the Big Ten to be.
Hey, your mic sounds normal.
It's a little bit more juice to it, huh?
Yeah.
They want the standings in the Big Ten to be like the standings in the NFC.
That's
like
exactly
they
what
want their
they
own
want.
sub playoff is what they want.
Yes, they do. And this has been written about a lot. There's a good piece, I believe it was in The Athletic, that goes back and documents how, you remember when Kevin Warren was there and Petiti came in and he began his job in 2023. So the Pac-12 imploded during that time and USC and UCLA joined the Big Ten. At that point, they decided, let's go for it. Let's grab Oregon and Washington. So they threw them a lifeline. So the Big Ten then had 18 teams. And that's a lot of mouths to feed. And so in the Big Ten's eyes, a 12-team college football playoff, which at that time didn't exist, but now does, a 12-team college football playoff was considered too small. And almost immediately, Petitti began the talking points of, well, we all know this is going to go to 14. Why don't we just jump it to 16? And everybody went, well, we're just starting 12. Well, no, screw it. Let's go to 16. Basically, anytime he did an interview, he alluded to the fact that he thought, well, eventually we're going to land at 16. Apparently, that even though that seems likely and somewhat logical, there were others in the business, including the SEC, their partners in the college football playoff, if you will, that were kind of like, well, I don't know, maybe, but let's see how 12 does, and we'll go from there, and then maybe we'll go to 14. And Petitti kept saying, why bother with the 14? Okay, well, I kind of agree why bother with the 14, but he was adamant about it because, again, he was going to push the format he's now pushing, which is that they want 4 guaranteed no matter what, year in, year out.
Yeah, because that way he can say, well, look, if we're in a 16-team playoff, I mean, we're only asking for 4. At 14, that's a little over a quarter of the spots, but at 16, it's perfectly. It's just 25%.
Yeah, and then he said basically, look, he's kind of admitted it. This quote stood out to me because there was pushback, and he was being asked about it. He said, look, the weekend that I'm talking about where you would have championship games across all conferences, we could play meaningful play-in games. And I just don't see how that's a bad thing for college football. I think fans will gravitate towards it, is what he went on to say. And the reporter went, well, the SEC doesn't want to do that. And they haven't gravitated towards it. And they're your partners. And nobody else wants to do that. He's like, they will. They'll want to do that. Well, remember this. Fox has the biggest say in this. Fox has precious little in the way of inventory in college football. So the thought here is that, if they could get these games like the NFL, where they had a bigger piece of the pie, then they would have these more meaningful games, and that would be a bigger piece of the postseason than its lone current property. Its lone current property is the Holiday Bowl.
Right, exactly. You want more chips to bring to the table if ESPN is, in fact, going to continue to look to sub-license out some of the playoff games and maybe some bowl games, and you could do a little bit more horse trading. If you have, essentially a 3-6-4-5 setup for the Big Ten, what is now Big Ten Championship weekend,
right,
would be 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5. First of all, the race for those top 6 seeds would keep a lot more teams interested, so your ratings would be higher in the interim. But then also now you get 2 games on what is currently known as Conference Championship Saturday, and that is more valuable to everybody involved. They also, the Big Ten, it's weird with them because their network owns their rights. It's not the conference itself. So Big Ten Network is actually the one that leases things out.
Yeah, it's not the conference itself. They control the media right, and Fox owns 61% of the Big Ten network.
Right, and they spin off some things to CBS and NBC for Big Ten Saturday night because they got noon kickoff on Fox, Big Ten Saturday night on NBC, and then you've got some CBS things to do as well in terms of the money that's coming in. But I know it, and you know it, ESPN wants a piece of the Big Ten still. If you could get a couple of games a week of the Big Ten on ESPN in exchange for a playoff game here or there or a bowl game, that's what they're trying to position themselves for. I mean, so it's essentially you're playing Monopoly right now, and you're trying to cut some deals, and it makes people bored to tears when they think about it. But what Petitti's pushing for could have real ramifications on our existence. And the one thing I would say coming out of Big Ten Media Days is all of those coaches were speaking in unison as though the Big Ten schedules more tough games than the SEC, and that's just not true. I don't understand that. We have 9 conference games. They don't play 9. Last I checked, the SEC schedules extremely aggressively out of its own conference relative to the Big Ten. The Big Ten doesn't have a resume like the SEC does for neutral site games, for in-state rivalries against non-SEC foes.
Why they've pushed back in part. And
in this case, I know I don't usually like to take the SEC side. I think the SEC is correct in this particular instance.
Yeah, and to provide further clarification for people about where we sit in all this, ESPN has the college football playoff for another 7 years. The Big Ten play-in games that we're alluding to would give Fox, the sub-licensees, CBS and NBC, more of the action like you're talking about. More inventory is what we're talking about. More money for the Big Ten.
And it's a game that would matter more. This is where I think that he's onto something with this, because when we were talking about SMU this year and conference championship games, like how many of these teams are in danger of not making the playoff that are playing on conference championship Saturday?
Right.
And the answer is really, I mean, if you're the top seed, you're going to go to the college football playoff. So that weekend is less interesting than it's ever been. What would make it more interesting is a play-in. Instead of, well, if Georgia decides to play either way, they're, as Joe Tessitore said, they're in the playoff either way.
Yes, he went on and on and on about.
So you lose interest. There's not as much at stake. Like for the BCS days, the SEC championship was incredibly important. The winner goes, the loser doesn't.
I'm not a big Mandel guy, but as he pointed out, that's all well and good, but man, businesses that fundamentally alter a product that is cherished by its consumers and do so for no reason, they tend to struggle. It's not a good idea. Like, don't change up the thing that everybody adores. And that's what we've been watching. That's why college football fans are mad. They're frustrated.
Yeah, well, and that's where, the Big Ten's trying to bully the SEC into having a 9th conference game. And I hope the SEC sticks with 8 because we're not in there. And you'd want to be able to showcase your conference against more power conferences. I think that's better for us if the SEC does not kowtow to the Big Ten's wish.
The Petiti, and they won't. The Petiti quote, by the way, is, "We are open to considering any format ideas that come from our conference colleagues. But to be clear, formats that increase the discretion and role of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee will have a difficult time getting support from those of us in the Big Ten."
Yeah, like you can believe that, man. Like when Signetti said, well, I got rid of all of my FBS opponents because I want to schedule like the SEC. I'm like, no, man, that's not how that works.
That's not how that works. I would tell you, by the way, that I hate the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. So do you, and so does anybody, especially Florida State fans. I would change the way they do this as well. I wouldn't have a committee decide who these teams are. But nonetheless, I think this quote is kind of hubris. And the SEC is not going to kowtow to them. This is going to be like a little bit like the players union in Major League Baseball. Like whatever the other says publicly, whether they agree with it or not, they come out and state that they don't, and they take on a position sometimes that you can tell they don't even believe.
Yeah, I think the point that Petiti has is that conference championship weekend is boring now. He's correct. They could fix that, and I think his model is fun. But what he and the coaches are saying that we are the better league in terms of the way we schedule. It's a tougher schedule. That's so false.
It's just not true.
It's just false, man. I'm sorry.
No.
But we do need to fix conference championship weekend. I get it. Mandel's point is don't change what the consumers consume. Well, right
that's
now,
already been done.
Yes, conference championship weekend is a bore. Because you're playing for a bye week, sure, okay, fine, but there's you're not going home and packing your bag. And on the SEC, not in the Big Ten, both those teams that are playing are automatically going anyway.
Well, and we brought this up before. Those games became they were neutered. I mean, we realized now the magnitude of those kids, and then they realized, oh my God, that's a huge cash cow. What are we going to do?
Right. Yeah, like so. If you're a Clemson fan last year, that game was incredibly important. You don't make it without beating SMU.
Yeah, you got to win the game.
But that's 1 out of 6 teams. If you're just looking at ACC, SEC, Big Ten,
right?
One team needed to win that day. The rest of them were going to get in anyway.
They've irrevocably, excuse me, if I could speak, changed college football in a way that is always going to leave some of us longing for the intensity and magnitude of individual games, right? That has been trimmed down. That's not going to be what it once was. It used to be that these moments in a college football season where we played Miami or Florida, and then you name, the best 2 teams in the Big Ten, Ohio State and Michigan most years, right? That game was an elimination when it came to a national championship contender most years. And I'm always going to miss that element that separated college football from pro football. That was the differentiator, besides the fact that most of us are college football fans because we attended a school, or are from that region or whatever it might be. The thing is, in pro football, you watch games and there's never the sense of urgency, and that's fine. That's a different game altogether. They play more games of pros. It's a different system, and you understand that you're watching something wholly different from college football, and we like that. My Sundays were a different mindset. Bucks could lose about 4 o'clock. I'm like, they'll be all right. They're 2-2, got a couple winnable games coming up. You just thought about the game differently. In college football, there was buddy, this is one of the three. We got three. These three right here, this is one of them. Lose this one, could be all over but the shouting for our ultimate dream, which is a national championship. The other side of that argument is that because we're moving to 16 teams eventually, I do think that's true too. Man, it will allow college teams to do away with playing, East Texas. You can then play, if we join the SEC, let's say, you could have a schedule that looks an awful lot like Florida's this year. And you can say, well, that's all right. Win 9 of those, we're going.
Right, exactly.
We're going to go. And every week, I got a Tennessee, I got a Georgia, I got an Alabama, I got an LSU, I got an Auburn. All right, then. Every Saturday, I'm locked in. This place is a madhouse for home games. We're going on the road to really cool environments. That's the trade-off.
Yeah, and you're watching those games hoping that they sharpen your skill set so that you can win when it comes playoff time.
Yeah.
Like the game is a means to an end in a different way than it ever has been. And it's been going that way for a longer time than most people realize.
Yes.
It's just that we haven't been fans of Alabama or Ohio State in the last 10 years because they've had freebies. Both of those programs have had freebies well before we got into a 12-team playoff. Ohio State didn't even play in its own conference championship game and made it as an at-large playoff representative in the 4-team era. They didn't even play in the Big Ten championship game, and they got in. Last year's Ohio State lost 2 games.
Yes.
One of which to 6-6 or 5-6 at the time, Michigan. They lost that game. In no point in history would
Could
they
you have ever done that and had any chance?
Until last year. Not until last year.
Shannon Young, my man. Loansfornoles.com, great supporter of the show, has done a lot of good work for a lot of folks that have been trying to get the best possible loan option. My man is experienced, relentless, goal-oriented, a great attitude, tons of energy, fun to work with. He's done that for a ton of Florida State graduates and many others, and he's doing it in 7 states: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. You want to learn more, and I suggest you do if you're in the market. That's an unwavering commitment that you'll get from Shannon. Loansfornoles.com. That is loansfornoles.com. Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Cannonball! Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Make this summer a Swain summer. Choose Swain Pools and Spas for all your regular monthly or weekly scheduled pool maintenance, repairs, restoration, and renovation. Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee's pool everything store. Whether it's a deep clean, a resurfacing, or a full refresh, Swain's team will have you swimming, not skimming, in no time. Make a splash this summer and have a Swain summer. Find out all the ways Swain Pools and Spas can upgrade and maintain your backyard. Online at swainpools.com. That's swainpools.com.
Swain Pools and Spas. Do something up the fun when you want to. Swain Pools and Spas.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip. Tallahassee Car Care, right next to Swain Pools and Spas.
Cannonball!
Water is your home's worst enemy. It finds cracks, soft spots, and weaknesses. But not on our watch. At Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing, we're veteran-owned and built different, driven by detail and the pursuit of excellence. We install seamless gutters, underground drainage, and waterproofing systems that don't fail. Because when you live with discipline, water doesn't stand a chance. Gutter Solutions and Waterproofing. Visit guttersolutions.net. With us, it's personal. A roof isn't decoration. It's your home's first line of defense. At GSWP Roofing, we treat every build like it's mission critical. We're GAF Master Elite certified, led by a former Marine. And we don't cut corners. We execute with discipline, precision, and materials that hold the line. Storm after storm, year after year. Repairs, replacements, full installs. This is roofing done by the book. No excuses, no shortcuts. GSWP Roofing. Online at gswproofing.com. With us, you're covered.
Number CCC 1335048.
Honey, what are these mushrooms in our yard? Portobello?
Huh. Let me take a look. Oh,
Shiitake.
I don't know, but our septic system is failing, and our whole yard smells like.
Should we try to cook these up and eat them tonight?
This is bad, Sheila.
Well, we better fix it soon, or we're going to be in deep.
Sheila, look. It's Crud Septic. Our prayers are answered.
Call Crud Septic Service today. Pump outs, installs, repairs. CrudSeptic.com. That's CrudSeptic.com.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way. The wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know, I should throw it to the chat. There's some trustworthy folks in that there chat. You know what's happened, Tom? Another big ticket item coming my way, unfortunately. You know, the last big ticket item was the 100-inch television. Had to do it.
Oh,
right
no.
No, it's fine.
Something broke?
No, nothing's wrong with that. Oh, well, something is shot, but it's not anything that, you know, I would be angry about, just disappointed. So I had a Pit Boss grill, or I have a Pit Boss grill. It's a big one. You can smoke and grill and do all that stuff. And I've rather enjoyed it. Now, I kind of inherited that one. I had a standard grill, like a regular Weber back in the day. And, you know, I grill a lot.
You do.
And so, and I rather enjoy it. I got my tunes going, ice cold beer. I'm outside on the deck. I like feeding people. I like to see my kids get excited when I come in with the food and all that. But my buddy called me one day. This is a few years back. And he's like, listen, I'm moving to Jacksonville for my job. And I've got this giant, it was one of the big Pit Bosses. And he's like, it's kind of new. And he's like, I just don't want to transport it. It's yours if you want. He's like, I'm going to buy a new one. I was going to go a different route anyhow. He's like, if you can come and get this thing, it's just yours. So Millar and I did.
I was going to say, so you called Millar.
Yeah. And so we went and got it, and I've had it for the last few years. And it's been great. It's been great. It was cool, especially because it was freaking free. But it's dead. It's pretty much dead. It's, I don't want to get into it. It's just a bunch of stuff has happened, and I'm pissed off about it, and I'm moving on. And I'm one of these guys that I can be gluttonous for certain things. I'm not gluttonous about a lot of things, but a couple of things that I like. Like I have too many watches. I probably own 10 watches. That seems excessive.
Wow. All right. Good for you.
But I like watches. I don't wear an expensive watch every day. Like right now, this is my sorry little Timex. That's a nothing. It's too hot out here to be wearing, my really expensive nice watches, right? So these just this. But I have them and I like them.
You've got time for them.
I do. And I do that. Obviously, my TV is a very nice television.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Grills kind of fall in that category where, do I bite the bullet here and go out and get the green egg? Is that what's still king right now?
Looks like Blackstone or green egg is what's going on in the chat.
So it's funny you bring this up. Fellas, you guys went right to where my head was. Do I go Blackstone or do I go green egg? I want to hear from both parties. Both sides, Tom. I want to hear Blackstone and or green egg. What do we got?
You know who swears by the green egg and has for over 10 years now is our pal Ernie Sims.
Does he?
Ernie used to talk about the green egg. He gets so fired up about it.
He does.
On the show. On his Monday and Thursday show. He'd be like, I can't wait. I'm going to fire up the big green egg, watch some football. Like it was never football, and then I'm going to go get the green egg open.
Marlon comes in strong right off the bat with Blackstone. So I've been looking at these Blackstones, and I'm kind of curious. I could go green egg.
How about a Traeger?
Dustin, green egg was so 2020. All right. I've got it. You guys weigh in. Give me some decent.
Wow. Blackstone is winning so far.
I'm shocked by this result.
So much so I feel like there's a rep in the chat. Oh, this is my moment.
I'm blown away by this. Look at all these folks coming in with the Blackstone. Has green egg been surpassed? I cook a lot of things. I don't necessarily Justin, I know I don't need to cook pizza or anything like that out there on the grill. I think you can do that with the green egg. I just, I want variety. I want the ability to throw on a steak, but also I could do breakfast. I could do whatever I want.
Blackstone hibachi. That sounds good.
Okay. I'm ready. You guys inundate. We'll come back. I should have done a survey. We should have done a poll question. Could have been like every other show in America and done a poll question, and it would have been self-serving. But I am. I'm asking the audience. I want to know. It's a good way to get back and forth. If I could do both, I'm down with both. Yeah,
that's right. There you go. I've got my Monday, Wednesday, Friday grill. I've got my griddle on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Marlon's coming strong with it again. You can do all that on a Blackstone. Okay.
People are fired up about their grills. It's a subculture, and they're showing out strong in the chat.
Well, it's important, Tom. I mean, we're all men here. We're doing some things. We're doing manly things. We're grilling. We're feeding our family, but we're also getting mental health time. You see how layered this is. It's not just a grill.
Right. That's right.
It's layered. You're able to when you need to get away. So if your kids are yapping too much and your wife is yapping too much and there's all kinds of yapping going on in your house and you're tired of all that yapping, which happens to me.
Then you turn on First Take. No, that's how I get away from the yapping is I turn on First Take.
No, but when you're trying to get away from all the excessive yapping, you've got your deck. And out on your deck sits your grill. And you and that grill are one. You get to understand the nuances of that grill. You understand why. Well, that's a little cold spot over there, guys. If you don't want to overcook it, just slide that right over there. That's a cold spot. I've noticed over the last couple of years, that's a cold spot. Over here, oh, you want it done quick? It's burning hot right here. Just throw that puppy down. It'll be done in no time.
I call it Sizzling Street.
Things get done over here now. But anyhow, so yeah, you know all these things, right? And then the whole thing of it is like you have an excuse. What's your wife going to do? Get mad at you for excusing yourself from all that yapping when you tell them, I'm cooking for everybody.
I'm providing food for you.
I'm going to cook something, and I'm good at it. It's going to be delicious. You guys yap away. But when I come back in, I need all that yapping to come to a cease, come to a stop. We're done with it. Stop all that yapping. I'm going to come in. I'll have food. You guys eat the food while I can hear my show because all the yapping is over. That's where it's at.
You know what I realized last week is that when you put together a rub or a certain amount of it's not a marinade, but for the strip steaks that I cooked last week, because I asked your opinion on it, you have to cover those suckers in the marinade or the rub.
Oh yeah.
It might look like it's a nice amount.
Massage it in there.
But I mean, it almost has to be like, snow on the ground that sticks. You need to get a lot on there in order for the flavor to make it through the cooking process.
Yes.
See, I just learned that. I'm in the 101. I'm in the hundreds course.
I got you, buddy. I'll come over there. We'll have a day. I'll be like, now, Tom, what are we cooking here today? We got fish? I got you. It'll never be fish with you, is it?
No. Fish or filters.
No, James, I've been able to smoke. I've done smoking and grilling. I've done both. Yes, we will be doing Coach Speak this year. And I did see Dave Aranda incessantly referencing midgets.
Yeah, sure did.
How about my man? And then I
was waiting for him to stick the landing. And I'm like, oh, so no, none of this was necessary.
He's just, yeah. And when he started down the path, you got to have a guy that's, that's going to shoot you straight. Maybe even within the pool of reporters, kind of your guy. Because he loves to meander and go into things that have little to do with football. And you need to be able, when you go down that path, to look over at your guy and have him be like, give you the look of, no, that's not what we're going to do. Or like, roll with it.
Yeah, you look at him and then, he has permission to jump in and interrupt with another question. Coach, your thoughts on the running back room? As the running back room? You're the running back room.
Yeah.
What do you think, Coach? Oh, of course. I appreciate the question.
Game like a Dylan just wrote meat. And contributed. Just meat it is. Woo! Yeah, well done, by the way, guys. I am interested to see, like, I'm surprised that the Blackstone got such a hearty endorsement. They have caught my eye. Like a few times when I'm walking in the Home Depot or the Lowe's or wherever, and I look over them, and then I keep going. But they have caught my eye. It's I have always, my grill has been working, so I've thought, well, I don't need to go over there, but it catches you. You're like, ooh, what are you? What's going on over there?
Oh, Keith wants to throw Weber in there. Weber with lump charcoal, hard to beat for searing steaks.
I have a smoker, a Weber kettle. And
you do?
No, that's what he has.
Oh,
I was reading his thing.
You're reading his comment. Okay.
And a Blackstone.
It's so convincing.
Laugh out loud. Weber with lump charcoal is hard to beat for searing steaks. It is, but it's just that's really true of searing steaks. But there's a whole host of other things now that I utilize my grill for. I've actually got a great system there. That's a whole nother subject. I get the cast iron skillet. I sear them on the cast iron. Then I throw that sucker in the pit boss. Oh, buddy. I got a system for steaks.
I take pride in my grits.
I do. Got a system. Thanks for engaging. Not too many more of these. Soon it'll just be the football. Hey, by the way, do want to touch on something.
You could just throw a steak on the deck right now. You don't need a grill today. It'll be done in 10 minutes.
Throw it on the hood of your car.
Yeah, that's it.
It's absurd. I got angry and I was in an air-conditioned car because I was looking at the temperature just going up, up, up the whole time I was driving. Like, I left St. Pete this morning to get here today to do the show. I left at 6:45 in the morning. It was already in the 80s at 6:45 in the morning. By the time I got to outside of Tampa, we were right about to approach 90 degrees. It was not even 8 a.m. That's not what you do. That is not what you do, weather. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 7 p.m. tonight.
Slight chance for storms this afternoon. Otherwise, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 101. North winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows level off around 80. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 94.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
The Department of Energy says power outages could surge 10,000% over the next few years, thanks to power-hungry AI data centers. With the grid already struggling to keep up with demand, now is the time to prepare. My Patriot Supply is making it easy with their Christmas in July bundle, featuring the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator. And for a limited time, they're including over $1,000 in free survival gear along with it. Emergency food, water filtration, backup power, and essential tools. The Grid Doctor delivers 3,300 watts of power, enough to run your fridge, CPAP, power tools, and more. It's whisper quiet, gas-free, and completely off-grid. When the next power outage hits, you'll be glad you planned ahead. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio and grab the Christmas in July bundle while it lasts. Blackouts are coming. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio and get prepared today.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
no.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know, it's interesting. The folks are coming strong here late on the Traeger, and I got a couple CB on Twitter and a few others threw in the Traeger as well. Now, okay, this is what I wanted, guys. I wanted options. I wanted folks to vouch for certain things, and I'll do the rest. I'll go do my research. I can't be completely lazy. It's a big purchase. It's a big to-do. Football season is upon us. I can't be caught with my pants down before football season. The grilling's going to happen.
It's not 4 a.m.
No.
I'm
not out back peeing for the neighbor. This is not going to get it done. We're going to have an operational grill or two. First name John, new member. Thank you so much. Troy Knoll, go Knowles, member for 5 months. I remember the fateful day, Troy, that you made the decision to become a member. I can remember like it was yesterday. And here we are 5 months later.
A fateful day, was it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I went home thinking, Troy did it, pulled the trigger.
Well,
what a moment.
And I think it might have been the first person. It was him or James B. And I like that first name. John has the crying Jordan with the FSU hat. And you can see the bottom left. Yeah. That just doesn't get old. That will always play, I think. Maybe that makes me old, but the crying Jordan never is a problem. It's always a good thing.
Shep, I went around our old neighborhoods, buddy. I actually took the kids and we went around some of the old haunts. Some of those are yours as well, as I know you and I have discussed many times before, and have a little trip down memory lane. Some things have changed. Some things are exactly as they were. The stuff that's changed, a couple of things for the better. Others, not so much, including one of the 7-Elevens that's now like a Tobacco Haven.
Oh, really?
I was like, what is this? This was my 7-Eleven. Why is this a tobacco haven?
We are in the era of the smoke shop, I feel.
Well,
there's a
we
lot
have
more of
definitely
those.
entered the era of the smoke shop, yeah. In Charlotte, I went into a
smoke shop?
No, it might as well have been. I went into a bar, and it was the strangest thing. I walked in, and there were two dudes, one guy on the end of the bar and another about halfway between where I was at the other end of the bar, and that dude was on the hookah, getting after it on the hookah. I was like, is this a thing now? Is this just...
There was actually a hookah bar in my time as an undergrad next to the, well, whatever. They've been around forever. The Momos on Stadium in Tennessee. I don't know. I think it's now the axe throwing place.
That was? Yeah.
It was a hookah bar forever.
You just go into a hookah bar and hang out and do the hookah?
My buddies did. Tyler, he always listens to the pod. He loved that place. I never understood it.
I don't either.
They brought the hookah to my house and somebody burned my table. It was my roommate, Brian.
Forgive my complete ignorance on this. That's people aren't smoking weed at the hookah bars.
It's like flavored tobacco.
It's just flavored tobacco.
Yeah. I don't know.
Why do I got to go to the bar for that? I'll just do that to Hizzy. I don't need all that. And if I'm going to smoke something like that, I'm going to smoke a bong. I'm not going to be smoking the hookah.
Hang on a minute.
I'm saying if I'm going to do something like that, we're going straight to the bong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, we're not doing this hookah nonsense. Yeah. That's where I'm going. If I'm going to do this, that would be odd.
Somebody have a Gatorade bottle I can convert?
No, it would be a nice glass bong if I was going to do all of that. We're not. But I did. I thought it was crazy. I was kind of like, what's going on here? And I looked like the outsider. Everybody was kind of looking at me like, I'm laughing at some of your all's responses. You were worried, weren't you, Tom? Where I was going.
I've been worried a lot today. Talking about truckers and hookahs. Well, when you said there are two dudes at the bar and they were, and I was
like, where's he gonna go?
The discomfort in your voice.
I
what
thought
makes
it was
you uncomfortable.
No, not much. I thought it was strange though when I walked in. I was like, okay, there's a guy on a hookah here in the middle of this bar, and there's a guy at the end of the bar on a hookah. This is a hookah bar. And they all kind of looked at me, and I was like, just a beer. Just a beer. Gonna have a beer while I wait here on a friend. And then we're gonna go walk into somewhere else.
Weirdo.
Hey, man.
Who comes here and orders a beer?
What are you doing? The hookah's right there next to you. Pick it up. Pick up the hookah.
You're the equivalent of just a salad. I'll just have a salad.
So here you go. This is crazy, right? Earlier in the show, when I was jokingly and somewhat seriously talking about gambling, did you see? This is amazing to me, this story. Emmanuel Clase, a lot of you may not know him if you don't follow the American League and you don't care about Cleveland, but he's one of the best closers in the game. He's elite. He's being investigated currently on leave over a gambling probe. Let me predict something for you here, first of all. Guardians right-hander Luis Ortiz, who used to pitch for the Pirates a couple seasons ago, Tom, he is on non-disciplinary paid leave after being placed there July the 3rd because of unusual gambling activity on two pitches that he threw for balls. At that time, and this is pretty crazy because they don't offer this in the state of Florida. Like you and I can't go to Hard Rock and bet on balls and strikes that I'm aware of.
No, I did bet on velocity for Bednar when we were in Pittsburgh, and I got screwed.
Because he threw a breaking ball right off the bat, and then he promptly threw 98 right after
I think his next 6 pitches were all 98, and it's like 96.5 miles an hour. Like, all right, let's do it. Anyway, go ahead.
So, okay, the point is this. The reason there was a tie to that in this investigation is, and I've been trying to make this point to people for years. So in the midst of a real scare, perhaps, with certain players in different leagues, perhaps being – because I'm going to predict now that if they can prove, and it seems like they may have, in the Ortiz situation, if they prove that he was gambling on balls and strikes while he's on the mound. He placed a bet or had friends place a bet. He's done. He's out of baseball, and there's no coming back from it. Emmanuel Clase may equally be in this kind of trouble, but here's what I wanted people to know. When we were talking about legalizing gambling and having to become more pervasive all the way into the pros, all the way down to college, we talked a lot about the groups that govern gambling have to fight like hell to make sure and monitor bets all over the country, right? Because if it's ever shown that it's not integral, then if it's not integrity laden, you're screwed. The sport is screwed, but so is gambling at that point. So people wouldn't do this, right? So you have groups like this one, IC360. They're a firm that monitors betting markets, and all they do all day long is look for abnormalities. They see any kind of anything, they tag it. Let's take a closer look at this. Why is this happening? Strange bet. Strange influx of money is coming over here on a particular pitch, game, team, pitcher, you name it, doesn't matter. This is what they do. They, as gambling sports books, as gambling operators, hire these people to make sure that everything is on the up and up, so that the whole premise of what they do will remain stabilized, and people will go to Vegas and bet, and people will bet online. They'll do all those things. They actually caught a pitch from Clase that they thought, sizable money on that last pitch came in out of New York for it to be a ball. What gives? Let's take a look at this. And then they started noticing a couple of things here and there that they didn't like. And now he's on leave, and they're going to continue to investigate. This blows me away on a lot of levels. A, how good these firms are that monitor all of this for abnormalities in the market. Makes me feel much better about us engaging in legal sports gambling. But it also really, I find great curiosity in the fact that, and I went and looked it up, Clase is 27 years old. He's made over $7 million. He is set to make a lot more in the next couple of years. But he's made over $7 million in the last 3 years. There are limits. People don't realize this. There's only so much you can bet on a thing like a ball or a strike. There's only, you can't go and say, I want $9 million on this to be a ball. No sports book is taking that bet. I don't know what the limit is in a lot of these places for a ball or a strike bet, but I can't imagine it's very high. $1,000?
Probably something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I
think that's what I put on Bednar.
No, it's definitely not. But
like
yeah,
$15.
So these gambling operators are alerted immediately when there's a spike in action. You're going to get caught, first of all. Secondly, you're making millions of dollars. What are you trying to make, $5,000? What are you doing? And then again, one of the interesting things here is that his own teammate had already been popped. So now my guess is that opened the door to looking at other pitchers. But man alive, this reads interesting because it reads as if even after Ortiz had been, they found more pitches later on that they were concerned with. Buddy. And I know for a fact that before every season, every player in Major League Baseball, and this is true of the NFL, this is true in college sports now, this is true across the board, it's mandatory. You have to go through these ridiculously long seminars, and it's so vetted to the point where you're like, oh, this again, I get it. I can't bet on anything. Right. You can't. You're part of the action. Can't do it. Can't ever happen. And most importantly, the consequences are laid bare in these meetings. They're not little things like, oh, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. It's like your career is over, man. You're 27 years old. You're making $3.9 million a year right now. 2 years from now, the other part of your contract kicks in. You make $10 million 2 years from now. How's it even possible? I mean, I'm blown away by that. Weed out the dumbasses. Fine. Thin the herd. Then they're hurt. Are you doing that for a buddy? Just give them the $5,000. Like, you're going to put your career on the line because one of your buddies wants to make $4,000, $3,000 on a pitch that you can, obviously alter. Just give him the money. If you care that much to do it, you obviously love the guy or woman or whatever, well, then just give him the money. Don't put your career on the line. Just say, here's $3,000, man. You need $3,000? Here's $3,000. I'm not gonna get caught throwing a pitch where one of these monitoring firms are gonna go, why would somebody bet $5,000 on a ball or a strike? Why would 10 of you do that?
I think that's probably where there might be some of these offerings just get shut down. And
that's being talked about.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you could bet on anything. There's got to be a pushback and a correction as to what the offerings would be. Like, I don't think it's ridiculous to say, sorry, look, if you want to bet out, hit, strike out, in play out, home run, you want to bet those, that's fine. But pitch to pitch, it's a little much.
Yeah,
I could get that.
Yeah, so in both cases, unusual amounts of money were wagered on the pitchers being a ball or a hit batsman from betting accounts in New York, New Jersey, and Ohio. That, according to IC 360 Alert. At the All-Star game, and Rob Manfred addressed this and said, look, to your point, Tom, there are certain types of bets that strike me as unnecessary and could lead one to be particularly vulnerable, I guess, is what he's saying.
Because 1-0 counts, not a big deal. Like, I could see where it's fine. I'll throw a ball. I'm gonna strike him out anyway. Like, that's you want to take that thought process completely out of the picture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is, transparency is proven time and again with these firms. They end up busting these guys every single time. Hour number 3, bonus hour forthcoming. Stay with us. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
From the team behind Mac and More Systems comes IOWise, Tallahassee's trusted source for IT services. Protect your business with 24/7 cybersecurity, managed IT support, cloud storage solutions, network design, voice over IP phone systems, expert tech counseling, and more. Whether your business is growing fast or just getting started, IOWise keeps your systems running smoothly and securely. Local service, big solutions. Visit iowise.com today and work wiser with IOWise.
Budget Blinds at Tallahassee is your local window covering experts. They do it all: blinds, shades, drapery, shutters, even home automation. And they'll be there with you from the design to the measuring to the installation. Budget Blinds is with you every step of the way.
Hello, I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds at Tallahassee. Let us help you with your unique window treatment needs. Call us at 668-4835 for a free in-home consultation or find us online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Feeling sluggish? Wake up your body the right way with Vigor. The all-new Vigor Cold Plunge Tub from Hot Spring Spas is now available exclusively at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Boost circulation, reduce inflammation, sharpen your focus, and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
WVFT Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
Drew Rasmussen on the mound today for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's $1.02 underdog against Cam Schlittler and the Yankees minus 119, 8.5 over the total at Yankee Stadium. The Braves have dropped 5 straight. They've lost 60 games this season. They're 4-8, a 3.72 ERA. They are a $1.76 favorite of the Kansas City Royals and 45-year-old pitcher Rich Hill, who's 0-1 with a 1.80 ERA. Royals plus 144, 9.5 under the total. Matt Fitzpatrick 20-1 to win the Wyndham Championship this week on the PGA Tour in Greensboro. Score $500 in rewards at the G-Bank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. Then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Did you know power surges can put your heating and air conditioning system at risk? E&B offers protection for your HVAC, preventing damage from surges, overvoltage spikes, and other stresses. Call E&B Heating and Air today and ask about power protection for your equipment before it's too late.
Florida man, why are you hobbling around like you got body slammed by a palm tree?
Well, I was boarding the house up for the hurricane, and Hank, my alligator, thought he would help.
Your alligator was helping?
Well, he was holding the ladder with his tail, but a gust of wind hit me like a jet ski at full throttle. Next thing you know, I'm airborne, plywood in hand, landing in the palmettos.
Florida man, have you been keeping up with your chiropractic adjustments?
I fell off track just like I fell off the ladder. Now my spine's more crooked than a pirate's treasure map.
Look, just like you prep your house for a hurricane, you gotta prep your body for the health storms life throws at you. Don't wait till your spine's blowing in the wind. Take action now.
You're right. I'm headed to Finn Chiropractic faster than Hank goes after a marshmallow.
Go to finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com. That's finnchiro.com. Book your appointment now and take advantage of that online special.
I'm headed to Finn Chiropractic Boogity Boogity. Hank, get out of the cooler. That's for the hurricane party.
Pinch a Penny Pools has 12,000 square feet of hot tubs, over 20,000 gallons of tub capacity to choose from. That's 4,620,000 cubic inches of hot tubs. But if you don't want to take my word for it, check them out yourself. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, locally owned, and the easiest way to find relaxation at home.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Radio station is 93.3. Thanks for watching on Warchant TV YouTube channel. That too is local. Good to be with you guys again. We'll have to tab our above and beyond player of the week. We'll do that in the second segment. I think I know mine. You guys probably already know mine. I don't know who you're going to go with.
I don't know.
I snatched the obvious choice.
Maybe I should go off the board and just do a slice of life one, because I went to a party this weekend that was above and beyond. It was outstanding.
Mutual friend of ours, and I hate that oftentimes, I think 3 of the last 5 years I've been out of town, including this past weekend, in which that party was going on. It's always fun when I go. We always have a blast. Johnny Mac there?
He was.
Always.
Yep.
Feeling good?
Oh, yeah. He's in a great spirits. Great spirits.
Always. That's awesome. Did they have the big water slide?
Yes. A good 20-footer.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't chintz out on that. It's always
good. It had
good.
3 rows this time. Three concurrent. 3 rows. It's
always the best, buddy.
You got to wait to do that till later because, all the kids clear out.
But then you can, And by that time, everybody's having a good time, and you can't wait to do that. And it's good times.
Good day.
Good day. Good day.
So I guess that's off the board now. I got to pick somebody else.
Tomorrow will be a good day. As I said to start the show, and I'll say again for those jumping on board, Mike Norvell presser, assistant coaches there for the luncheon that starts, in essence, a new season of Florida State football. I don't know what I'll hear different from Mike that I didn't hear already in Charlotte just a week ago, but I am eager to hear from the assistant coaches whom we've really not had a chance to talk to. An opportunity to talk about and assess the summer workouts. It is interesting now that they have so much access to these guys in the summertime, and every player to a man up in Charlotte talked about real work getting done. That was something that stood out, Tom, when we talked to Tommy Castellanos, that I was asking about tempo and how quickly guys can get acclimated to how fast Gus wants to run this. I still remain very, very not suspicious, but intrigued by just how fast does he want to go? Just how fast does he want to go? I always think that is one of 2 ways you think. Like, for example, what's my defense? What do I have or don't have on defense? Has to help inform your decision. But some people push back on that and say the offense is the offense, and we're going to run it the way it's supposed to be run. And in my eyes, it's run this way. And I need my defensive coordinator to get him coached up and to be able to handle a high possession game, because that's just the way this is going to be. And, you brought me in here to run a certain system, and this is the way I want to run it. We haven't run it the right way in a long time. I'm now in charge of the offense. This is what we're going to do. I don't know. I think I prefer it to be a little bit more malleable than that. Like, I don't think that when you're up 14 points against Alabama, you want more plays. I think you want fewer plays at that point. But we'll see how he chooses to run it.
That's also a psychology thing, though. How early do you pull off the gas because it signals something to the players? The intensity's lost. Next thing you know, there's a false starts 1st and 15, and you go, oh, no. And it's hard to rev that thing back up. If mentally they come off it a little bit and they don't have that edge, which is the term that they like to use a lot at Florida State this offseason, can you restart the engine if you need to? If Alabama gets it down to a 4-point game, that's for Mike to decide. That's what this year's on-field decisions are going to be about for Mike.
It is. And Mike was in great spirits when we last saw him. I'm sure he'll be in great spirits again this week, tomorrow, in fact, when we see him, and our staff will be over there. So we'll get these assistant coaches, and every year I end up talking to Tony Tokars. I kind of don't know what I have to admit. Tony's role to me seems lessened. There's no way around that. But I am kind of curious his thoughts of the work that Tommy's put in and where they're at. And he's always usually pretty candid. So it's a good conversation. He's even been candid where he's been disappointed for certain aspects or encouraged by certain other aspects. He'll talk about that too. So we'll glean something from it tomorrow. And by the way, on that note, the way Headlines is going to work is it's going to go instead of 1 to 3 as it normally is, followed with the bonus hour. We're going to do the bonus hour first tomorrow, and the Headlines portion will go 2 to 4. That is because we're over there doing these interviews and having the luncheon, and those guys got to write stories afterwards, and we've got to be able to put together the videos and all that stuff. So you'll have the bonus hour from 1 to 2, 2 to 4. It will be, of course, me and the boys doing Seminole Headlines, which I very much look forward to. Now it's just kind of go time. Here we go. I mean, I said at the start of the show, we're 25 daay.
And I'm sure we'll know by this time tomorrow when you guys are on the air for hour number 2 of Headlines, what days they're practicing. Are they going to Jacksonville and for how long? Like, those answers are coming.
Glad I've never had to do that. Going over to Jacksonville to cover the.
Come on, you're not up for driving your car a couple hours to and fro right now?
It's not that. It's that it always looks miserable where they go.
That's the goal.
I know that's the goal, but every time I'm like, no. And I just don't feel like I'm going to get enough out of this to do it.
Aslan got footage. This is 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was the first year that they were out there. Because last year there was a weather problem, so they had the Jags indoor practice facility one of the days. So I think they had the respite.
Right.
But it was that whatever that college's field was. And
North Florida, isn't it?
It probably is.
I think it is, yeah.
And Odell has that sled for the D tackles, and it's a miserable looking sled. And he's just yelling at the guys, and they're having to push it like 30, 40 feet in front of him. And you could hear the sizzle, the snap to the heat and the humidity. I'm like, oh my God. Odell is yelling in your face, come on, get it. And you're just having to push a sled. It's 10:30, heat index 102. Ugh.
So my son started football practice. Today's Leon starts back up, and I think a lot of the programs are starting their first week of practice, like official practices now for the fall. And I was reminded as I was walking to my car that I did that way back when, and I don't know how. And my neighbor, who also played football, said, we were 17. We were 16, 17 years old. You could do that. You're Superman at that age. You just find ways. And I was joking because I said, all these years later, and any former player out there listening to this who's gone through a football camp, we used to do 2-a-days. They don't do 2-a-days anymore. 2-a-days sucked to high heaven. I have one distinct memory that to this day, I cringe when I think about it. It wasn't the hitting. It wasn't the initial lap we had to do to warm up. It wasn't the scrimmages or the Oklahomas or any of that stuff. It was doing the calisthenics in the grass that didn't mow the day before. Like they weren't up to snuff. And so it was high grass and humid. And we would begin with leg lifts. We had to lay down in the grass, and you'd hold your helmet and lift your feet 6 inches off the ground, and then split, put them back together, down, up, down, out, up, and do that whole thing. That pissed me off. I used to get angry laying in that grass, hot as Hades, gnats and bugs all up in your face. It was the worst, Tom. And then once practice started, I was like, now we're playing football. But laying down in that grass in the heat, that first moment, every day, I'd lay down, oh, damn it, man. And if they didn't cut the grass, it's like, oh, cut the grass, you lazy bastards. Oh, it was the worst.
I don't know that I have quite that type of
visceral response to, yeah.
I can tell you that when I walked on the swamplands of Landsberg Golf Club's holes number 5 and 6 in the summers, I thought, my God. What is this?
How do the people survive here? This is crazy.
Best I can do is roller hockey in July. That was pretty bad. They put a roof over it when I came back from college.
Oh,
you mothers.
Really?
You motherless goats.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. They put a roof over it. Damn.
By the way, Jaguar fans, got NFL news for you here. I do want to point this out. The Jags are going to play Travis Hunter on offense and defense in Friday night scrimmage. We talk about reasons to tune into preseason games and or scrimmages or anything like that. This will be at Everbank Stadium. That's the first he'll have done that in camp. We were talking to our mutual friend, Ryan Kelly, WCTV. He's a huge Jags fan. He's rooted for the Butts from day one. And I said, hey, look, man, you got a little bit of intrigue at least. You got a guy who knows how to coach offense, and you got a player who's dynamic that everybody wants to watch. And I do. I want to watch him too, and I'm really curious, can they pull this off over in Jacksonville? Liam Cohen said they will give him the opportunity to see if they need to alter Hunter's detailed practice and meeting schedule for the following week and beyond. Quote, he'll go back to defense before our mock game scrimmage and be able to kind of use that mock as an evaluation. What do we need to know? What did it look like in the scrimmage? Do we need to maybe get him more on defense? Or, hey, those guys are producing, aren't, or they are. We'll put them on the other side of the ball. It's a lot. We got to define it. Got to figure it out. He's only practiced on one side of the ball so far for Jacksonville. Now he's going to get an opportunity in scrimmage. I don't, you admittedly are going to have to play him on both sides of the ball in a preseason game to find out if you can do it in a game.
They will.
And how it would look.
He can do it. That dude is insane for what he was able to do. I think one of the unheralded things. Now, again, you got the humidity and what's going on in this state right now, which is a bit of a different animal. But he was able to do it at altitude.
Yeah.
That's absurd. I mean, NFL players go play in Denver in a random week, or if they go down to Mexico and they play in at altitude down there.
Yeah.
And there's an adjustment period, and you see. I mean, the best athletes in the world having to go to the oxygen machine all the time. And here's this guy playing 120 snaps a game in Boulder. It's unreal. He'll be able to, and the NFL game's so fast, he'll be able to do it.
The only thing I'd say about that is getting hit by NFL football players in which you're not transcendently better than as you were in college, where you are going to just run past people, run by people, do all. That's not going to happen as often in the NFL. And also, if you're playing on defense in the NFL, they'll take smaller guys and you're going to tackle me. We're coming towards we're going to make you come up and make plays in the run game. We'll see. I mean, that's a different animal.
Sure. I don't think the percentage count of snaps, relative to what was it at Colorado? 80% of the snaps? I don't even know.
It was a high percentage.
It was a high percentage. It won't be that high here.
No.
And they'll probably save a lot of his, stamina for the fourth quarter. That first week's going to be tough. They open, they open at home against Carolina. That's not too terrible.
That's not tough at all.
No. So it was buried on a higher line of the schedule because they do 2x2s here on the page I'm on. But week 2, he's on the road at Cincinnati. That is a test and a half right there.
Oh, the best receiver in the game?
Yeah.
I mean, but see, right there you find out how quickly it happens. The Jags, who nobody cares to watch, are now going to be must-see television week 2. You're going to be like, well, I want to see. He's going against the best receiver in football. And I imagine he's going to be the guy against, Chase. I mean, this is going to be incredible. I won't miss that.
Well, and if even he's off, I mean, didn't they re-sign Boyd too, right?
Yeah, so
they got some players now.
Oh, they got weapons. It should be fun. As far as camp goes for Florida State, I do wonder, and we should talk more about this. I'm kind of curious now, since we've had a chance to talk to the players up there in Charlotte. I loved all of the conversations regarding Luke Pettibon and obviously Richie Leonard. Richie Leonard talked about Luke Pettibon, and so did other players talking about his leadership. So we know that it's Pettibon, it's Leonard. We don't know, but we assume it's going to be Pettis at right tackle. We hope that he's
That's
right.
where he played at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and Gunner played left. Gunner played both, but Micah was entrenched at right tackle at Ole Miss.
So we think Medley is a guarantee at guard? Or do we think that's where our boy Otto gets a chance or makes it happen?
I think Medley is the leader in the clubhouse because, I mean, the tie would go to the player that you know as the offensive coordinator or the position coach. He's UCF, so I would imagine the tie would go to Medley. Now, that's something that we can ask tomorrow. We'll get the runaround on an answer, but we can at least ask the question tomorrow.
Yeah, this camp is going to be intriguing because there aren't that many jobs being fought for. I mean, we think that you could say Robinson, Squirrel White as well in the slot, right? So you got the X receivers, Robinson, in the slot. It's going to be Squirrel. There is a fight for the Z receiver, if you will, that because you don't know, is that going to be Boggs or McCoy or Moore
or Gavin Blackwell?
Or Blackwell, right? Good call. Forgot about Blackwell. He was brought in. Yep.
And he's a super senior. I mean, he's coming here to do something.
He just wasn't all that productive in North Carolina. So I don't know that I can. So Boggs, are we going to put him in the slot?
That'll be interesting to see where Squirrel lines up relative to Boggs. You know, when we actually get into games, because I think Squirrel would be better suited in the slot. But then again, if you watch his uber productive season at Tennessee, he was outside. He had no problem going there. And he did have the dynamics to go fight for the ball. Is he prototypically sized like, Deuce Robinson? No, but he can do it. I just wonder what Boggs' skill set is going to be. And look, I mean, I think it's a huge camp for LaWayne McCoy.
It's a very big camp.
McCoy's got a chance to. I mean, because if you don't now, and Boggs passes you in his first season, like you got problems, man.
By the way, Squirrel White, if you're wondering, 5'10", 170, can really scoot. And his best year, 2023, 67 receptions, 803 yards, average 12 yards a catch. 2 touchdowns there. Okay. I mean, if he's anywhere near that productive, good Lord.
And it's just, there's dynamics to the play. I'm not saying it's Keon Coleman, because when we saw him and what he was able to do when he left his feet, how he contorted his body, like in a Michigan State uniform, we saw these things. So you loved him from the moment he was available in the portal.
Yes, I did.
But you got to see through contact, all these little details. Squirrel plays like he's 6'1". He's got that. But I think it'd be better off if we could get him isolated on a safety or a slot corner.
5 for 71 against the University of Florida was Squirrel when he played in that game. So, had himself a day. 34 receptions last year, but again, was dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury. All right, we got to pick players that went above and beyond. We'll do it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young. (369-6171) or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Hey, you, can't you read the sign? It says, keep off the grass.
Oh, but I just wanted to feel it.
Excuse me?
I wanted to feel what it was like to have an amazing lawn like you do. It always looks so good, even in the summertime. How do you do it, neighbor?
They're called Lawn Johns. They come once a week. Maybe you should give them a call so you can tell other people to stay off your lawn. How's that sound?
Ooh, yes. I would love to tell people to stay off my lawn.
For the very best in lawn care, call the Lawn Johns at 850-322-2567.
Stay off my lawn.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt and Brett Doster with America in View.
Matt, Florida has become the world leader for freedom, and I love being in the studio with you every week where we are reinforcing the conservative movement with truth, the Constitution, and a little redneck common sense. We're waking the woke.
That's right, Brett. We enjoy talking politics and what's going on in the world. We're bringing our take on the issues, doing our best to fight for freedom.
So tune in every Friday at 4 p.m. on Real Talk 93.3.
This week's Legacy Moment, brought to you by Cornerstone Memorials, honors Sarah and Henry Reed, who over 3 decades opened their home to more than 40 foster children. The Reeds weren't wealthy, but they gave every child love, safety, and a place to belong. Holidays at their house meant mismatched chairs and full hearts. When they passed, Sarah in 2017, Henry just last year, dozens of grown children came home one more time. The Reeds left behind a family they built with kindness. This has been a legacy moment honoring the lives that shaped Tallahassee. Sponsored by Cornerstone Memorials, helping families honor their loved ones with dignity and care. Find out more online at cornerstonememorials.org. Do you know of a Tallahassee legacy that should be shared? Text the word legacy to 850-386-8255 to submit your story for the Cornerstone Memorials Legacy Moment.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey there. You hear that? Right? You don't. That's what it's like to order food for your workplace with Easy Cater. No hold music while you wait to place your order. No tapping as you type in special dietary instructions or long, complicated searches for options in your budget. No crinkling of paper receipts. Just...
Dang, these are some tasty sandwiches.
Easy Cater, the better way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Who went above and beyond? By the way, give them a call today, 727-253-5995. Go to the website, aboveandbeyondvr.com, aboveandbeyondvr.com. You'll see 30-plus properties, many of which equipped with a pool, and others that are both equipped with a pool and right by the ocean, right by the Gulf. So opportunities abound for you to save money. No middleman fees, no BO fees. Use the promo code JCS and get 10% off when booking, saving a lot of money there. Tom, I think we've got even more savings going on right now than we normally have, which are already bountiful.
Yes, Labor Day weekend specials. Prices are being reduced down to summertime prices, which we've shown you, these 4-night prices that are absolutely killer. Here's what you're looking at if you want to book something to get away for the long weekend with the kids. Take the wife, watch some college football if you're in the central part of the state, South Florida, or if you're up north and you want to just get down to the beach and maybe watch the Knolls from a local beach bar in Clearwater or Dunedin. These are the prices that are available now. Multi-night holiday weekend prices that are unbeatable in Clearwater and Dunedin.
Yeah, so that's, again, holiday weekend pricing. And you see there, he hasn't even the rustic one that I love so much is under $1,000. And if you use the promo code, it'd be considerably under $1,000. So there you go. Nicely done. Go take a look at their properties. Knowles helping Knowles here, baby. And I'm going to go with Lahi Wde. You knew I would. To win in your LPGA debut as a pro after having turned pro. Again, just the third woman to ever do that. And Lahi Wde, a beloved Knoll, wins in her debut, Scottish Open, and has a chance to flourish year one on tour. She's a special talent and seemingly unflappable. So there you go. I think that's an easy choice. I feel bad, Tom. Who'd you have to pivot to?
Well, I had to pivot to these bums known as the New York Mets.
Uh-oh.
Back-to-back sweeps last week. They swept the Angels, thanks in large part to some excellent umpiring on Game 3 of the series against the Angels. Might have been Game 2. And then a weekend sweep in San Francisco. Not the easiest thing to do to go over there. It's a tough place to play. It's cold as hell. That first night, everybody's bundled up in jackets.
I always crack up about how cold it is in the summertime in San Francisco, but it is.
And the Mets are now a game and a half in front of the Phillies in the NL East, so I'm very proud. It was a good week. I had a lot of mediocre baseball. You know, we had the lows of the trip to Pittsburgh.
Those were highs, Tom. Those were wonderful
absolute
moments in time.
lows, worst moments you could possibly have.
Those were tough on you.
We were, I think, 10 out of 30, 10 and 20 in 30 games. So better times now. Way to go, Mets. Way to exceed my expectations above and beyond.
It's crazy how quickly baseball teams and things can change. Like, I think if you're a Yankees fan listening to this, for example, you're legitimately concerned about whether you're going to make the playoffs. And you should be. Aaron Judge, now injured, is being, he's out for a couple of weeks, I guess.
10 to 14 days.
He was carrying that team, Tom. Their pitching is suspect. So is their bullpen, for that matter. Buddy, they're in trouble.
I was looking up some numbers today about expected hits and average. I like to do that every once in a while now. Baseball Savant has these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Judge is amazing, and he's having an excellent year, not taking anything away from how great of a baseball player he is, because he also plays an excellent outfield. Like, he's a really good ball player.
Yeah, he is.
He's also one of the 2 or 3 luckiest players this season in terms of outcome versus expectation. So there are these numbers that the nerds can look at, which is how hard you hit the baseball, line drive rates, exit velocity in terms of the launch angle as well. And he's about 40 points to the good in terms of slugging and expected batting average. Luck factor is in his favor this year. So he's been going well above and beyond what the numbers suggest he should do. And yet, even with all of that effort, the Yankees are in a decent spot, but certainly not. I mean, is it 5.5 now for the Blue Jays in the East?
Yeah, and that's amazing to think how quickly that happened.
They've got the best record in baseball as of today. The Toronto Blue Jays do.
I'm going to point out that it'll be fascinating to see who deals what, because the Yankees are like the Dodgers in that when you have a glaring problem, you can remedy it in ways that other teams can because you have money and you can just pay your way out of an issue. But I wonder how much they're going to do that. And how long is he gone? I mean, his arm is in bad shape here. This is going to be fascinating. Now, again, I don't know that it'll affect anything because, again, we watched Ohtani hit 57 home runs with didn't he have to have Tommy John? He still had 57 home runs.
I mean, and Bryce Harper moved to first base because he had an arm issue as well. He's not going to play first. Actually, I read up a lot on this.
Well, Judge isn't going to throw a baseball. They don't want him to throw a baseball.
Right. He'll be
not even first.
He'll be out for the minimum time to get back and be a DH, but it's going to be a minute before he plays in the outfield for them.
I don't think he'll play in the outfield the rest of the year.
It's possible.
It's the way I read it is that they don't want him to throw a baseball at any point, because if they did, they could have moved him to first and it would have been fine, but you have to throw over there. So I don't know. It's interesting. Hall of Fame weekend. I'm officially old, but it was touching to see Dave Parker's son, David Parker II, honoring his father in the induction ceremony. I love this Hall of Fame class, by the way, because it was a class that I know. I know those guys. So do you. Wagner, Parker, Ichiro Suzuki first Japanese Hall of Famer. He won't be the last.
Cracked a joke about the Marlins. It was pretty funny.
He was great. CC Sabathia, Wagner, Parker.
CC. That season in 2007 for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Complete game machine. There were 2 dudes standing in baseball history that they were left. They were complete game machines. It was Halladay and it was CC. And that 2007 season, when he was acquired near the deadline by the Brewers, he must have averaged 8 innings a start at a time when dudes were going 6. He single-handedly got them into the wild card and won them.
It was one of the great runs, and they're kind of poised to go on another one. Are they going to be a significant buyer? They're right there. I mean, this is it. They've been that good. Kind of interesting to watch. They don't often make big splashes. They did it with CC that year. I'm curious to see if they'll do it now. I also love seeing Ichiro at 51 years old looking every bit like a man who could play baseball currently. And his speech was tremendous in that he talked a lot about, he was funny, but he also talked about how doing the little things made all the difference. In fact, that quote, I just pulled it up. If you consistently do the little things, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Look at me. I'm 5'11", 170. I came to America. People said I was too skinny to compete with the major leaguers. First time I ran out on the field, I was in awe of the competition. But I knew if I stuck to my beliefs about preparation, I could overcome the doubts, even my own. Well done.
Oh, that's a nice way to finish that.
Isn't that cool? Yeah,
it's
a really nice way to finish that thought. I was impressed because I listened to his. There you go, each.
He was something else.
He was a freak.
He encapsulates that time in your life when you're starting to get smart about sports and you love them. It's the late 90s, early 2000s for me. And when Ichiro was acquired, I remember all of the reporting that ESPN, they dedicated so much reporting to him, and it wasn't a farce. A lot of times when you get that extra attention, the guy turns out to be nothing.
Right.
And I mean, remember Hideki Arabu? There was a lot of time.
Pussy toad.
A lot of time spent on him, and he's not good. But Ichiro exceeded expectations.
Yeah, and then some. And I really would have loved to have seen what those totals ended up being if he had played his whole career in the majors. I mean, to amass over 3,000 hits after coming over when he did is remarkable.
I don't know that he would have run down Pete Rose. Like, he might have been close enough that he would have played longer just to do it.
Yeah.
But he would have been over 4,000 hits. There is no question that if he came up at 21, 22 years old, he would have been at 4,000, 4,200 hits, somewhere in there.
He didn't make a debut in the major leagues until he was 27 years old. I mean, so if you give him just another 4 seasons, just 4. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think you're right. He would have easily. It's fun. I do, when I watch these events, I do feel old because seeing Ichiro as gray-haired as he is, I was like, damn it, man, what's happening? All these guys. And, of course, Parker is dead. But I am glad that in the case of Dave, he knew. He knew to the point where he wrote a poem.
Yes.
Gave it to his son.
Yeah, his son knew. He had instructions. You're going to have to read this for me, man. Yeah.
AboveandBeyondVR.com. Go check it out. Lots of properties.
Probably need to hit the sounder, even though it's on the way out. So
go ahead, hit that sound.
Above and beyond.
Above and beyond. Above and beyond.
Above
and beyond.
In fact, I'll go above and beyond, answer a question in the chat before we go to break, because I feel like we should have some substance after the above and beyond sounder and not just go straight to break. Yes. Okay. So, yes, I read Noel-tastic, or did I read that right? I can't see this thing. Oh, Noel-tastic. Jeff and Tom, did you guys read the article on ESPN about Harper and the commissioner going at it in the Phillies clubhouse? I did. I read that whole article after about an hour of hearing Manfred talk about the need for a salary cap in the clubhouse. Harper was stewing much of that time, stood up, walked over, said, you can leave if that's what you're going to talk about. The two exchanged pleasantries. He was in his face. F-bombs were dropped by both men. He told him to effing leave the clubhouse, and Rob Manfred said, I won't effing leave the clubhouse. You need to know about why a cap is important.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
I think also with Manfred's Midwestern accent, hearing the F-bombs and these other words.
Yes.
Right? You have to understand.
And then my man, Will Shep, do we know Biscuit's current height and weight? Always thought he'd be a super difficult matchup. Catch the ball on the run, or really force the defense to adjust to him and open it up for somebody else. You know what's weird about it? I don't know, and we'll know tomorrow. We actually get that, don't we? Once they report, yeah. But I mean, like we knew it at the end of spring. Here's my thing. I don't know how much he's going to matter in this offense this year. I really like Biscuit, and he has some remarkable skills for the size that he is. But he just hasn't produced anywhere. He didn't produce all that much here. Certainly, he got in the doghouse here. Now, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything like that. I don't think he left on bad terms. I don't think there were arguments with coaches, but I just don't think he was in great shape in his final year here at all. He goes to Arizona State, and he didn't do anything there. Came back here, and now I just feel like you have a couple guys ahead of him. So I'm not sure. We'll see.
It's the question is, do you want an inline blocker? How valuable is that to you?
And do you give it away by his presence?
Yeah.
You know, if that's all he does, Tom, then you're kind of giving away what's happening.
They had some trick plays dialed up for him a couple of years ago when he was here. Remember the Pitt game?
Oh, yeah.
He was lined up at guard.
That was really
cool.
Unbalanced. That was really cool, by the way. That's back when we had real imagination in the offense there for a while. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Appreciate the question, Will. We'll look at Tom's looking it up right now, but we'll know, by the way. Don't we get by tomorrow, or is it Wednesday once they're all here?
Well, the media guy was released for ACC kickoff, so there would be that would be a part of this. But it's all broken out as returning players instead of just numerical.
And also, by the way, I miss the days of just grabbing. Just grabbing the media guide. Just grabbing the damn media guy. I used to love
6'5", 270. There you go.
Yeah. He's a hoss. Now, it's the Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local weather forecast with Danielle Kelly.
A hot start to the week with high temperatures in the upper 90s to lower 100s. Heat index or feels like temperatures, of course, higher. A heat advisory is in effect until 7 p.m. Today, sunny, 20% chance of showers and storms, high of 101. Tonight, low of 79. Tuesday, mostly sunny, 60% chance of showers and storms, high of 99. 50% chance on Wednesday, high of 93. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
Did you know that the survivability of a metal roof far exceeds that of a traditional shingle roof? At Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee, we have new state-of-the-art roll formers that produce the highest quality Versa panel, PBR panel, and standing seam options. And we will guarantee to match or beat any local competitor's pricing. We're a family-owned business, ready to offer you the best sales and installation service in the area. And don't forget about our veterans and first responders discounts. Call Metal Roofing Sales today, 850-536-9123, or visit us online at metalroofingSales.net.
The Department of Energy says power outages could surge 10,000% over the next few years, thanks to power-hungry AI data centers. With the grid already struggling to keep up with demand, now is the time to prepare. My Patriot Supply is making it easy with their Christmas in July bundle, featuring the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator. And for a limited time, they're including over $1,000 in free survival gear along with it. Emergency food, water filtration, backup power, and essential tools. The Grid Doctor delivers 3,300 watts of power, enough to run your fridge, CPAP, power tools, and more. It's whisper quiet, gas-free, and completely off-grid. When the next power outage hits, you'll be glad you planned ahead. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio. That's mypatriotsupply.com/radio. And grab the Christmas in July bundle while it lasts. Blackouts are coming. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/radio and get prepared today.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live. My first call ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires.
Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I was surprised to see Cordell Patterson was released by the Steelers this week. You know how old he is?
Old.
I don't know why. Some guys, you know how this goes.
32, 33?
He's 34. You're right. Yeah. He's old by NFL standards. That's really old for the position that he plays. He's released. By the way, he tweeted, this is hilarious. Got to give him credit. He tweeted, breaking news, Pittsburgh Steelers release old, washed-up Cordell Patterson on his day off. But yeah, he was always productive. He was always kind of a bear to deal with, I thought, when he was in Atlanta.
Well, he also had a good run against us.
He sure did.
Yeah. But yeah, he was an excellent returner. I mean, he's a one-trick pony that I think it was, who's their OC right now? Is the guy that used to coach them. He used to be the head coach, Arthur Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur Smith did find a role for him for about a half a season to a full season where he could use him as a proper running back.
He was a proper running back / receiver. He was a Swiss Army knife briefly. Yeah, I thought he was, he was kind of annoying. I was always like, every time I looked up, I'm like,
yeah, before that, it was just kick it out of the end zone. Don't kick it to him. That's who he was. But Arthur Smith found a little something for him, and he had about a few minutes in the sun where he was a legit, regular offensive player.
And Cortland Sutton gets paid, by the way. That Broncos team is on the verge of something here. 29-year-old getting $92 million extension. 60.8 of that million extension he signed with Denver in 2021. He repeatedly said he wants to finish his career there. That part of it's going to be guaranteed. Whew, man. What a day. What a day to go to work. That day, to walk in, to have them say, we're going to extend you, and by the way, $60 million of it's guaranteed. Have yourself a day at the office.
Well, they had the money. That's part of it's a side benefit of the project I did that's on the site right now about, revenue share dollars and stuff. The Broncos spent the least amount of money of any team last year, just in terms of what left their bank account. It was a little under $160 million.
Go to warchant.com to read what Tom is talking about, how Florida State football would spend its revenue share dollars based on NFL numbers. That's what you were tasked with doing. And it gives us a baseline of the money that's available. And take us through the process real quick, Tom. I mean, you looked at this the way that, NFL salary cap, league median spending on offense, defense, and then you kind of applied that to what we're going to have to spend and do the same there on offense and defense for FSU.
Yeah, if I had to put it simply, remember this from high school courses, your math courses, I'd say that, college spending is Algebra 2 and advanced calculus is the NFL. Because the NFL has got so many other things going on with signing bonuses, deferred money, voidable years in a contract. That's what the Bucs used a lot of with Gronk and Tom Brady to be able to free up dollars. And it's some years, if the cap is last year, for example, $250 million, the Broncos didn't spend anywhere close to that on their actual roster.
That's correct.
They had a lot of money spent elsewhere, maybe bonuses for other guys, whatever it was. For Florida State, you're going to use your 20.5 every year. There is no signing bonus way of skirting the cap. There is no voidable years in the contract that you would be paying like a Bobby Bonilla deal. Like, you're not going to defer any money or anything like that. So it's going to be a lot easier from Florida State's perspective to do the math is, do you meet the 20.5 every year? But what I tried to do was, because 32 NFL teams have 32 different situations, I tried to get that into one clean picture of how much money each NFL team on average spends at the quarterback position. So not just their starter, their backup, the receiver room, not just their best player, but how about their 5 guys or their 6 guys that they carry on their 54-man roster? Same thing all the way down the line to try and give us a range as fans.
What it's going to cost us, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people are coming back to the sport. They're like, okay, so what's the system again now? So the schools can actually pay them. It's not actually the Battle's End is not paying out, tens of millions of dollars. No, it's 20.5 coming from the school. How much can you expect reasonably that a football team is going to get paid by position? That was my job.
And you, in the process, you probably had fun noting that the Cowboys are spending nearly 26% of their cap on the quarterback position.
Right.
The high end in college is $4.49 million.
Yeah, if you spent what the Cowboys spent at quarterback in your rev share
you'd
terms,
have to spend nearly $5 million
on your quarterback room. Yes. Now, we all understand that the big players, Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Georgia,
they're going to hide the money. They're going to find ways.
They'll find a third-party deal that'll get you past $4 million on a quarterback room. But when you're just trying to think in your head, all right, how much money do we have? I think eventually with collective bargaining, we're going to get to a place where we can see these things like we see with an NFL deal, where Florida State would announce an extension for a player and you get the terms. But we don't live there yet. So I'm trying to at least give us an idea of how much they're spending in each position room. So yeah, if Florida State was to spend egregiously a quarterback like the Cowboys, you're looking at between $4 and $5 million to pay your top 2 or 3 quarterbacks.
Man, it's interesting that tight end room in college, Florida State's equivalent, if they paid what the Chiefs are paying, for example, which is the high end in the NFL, and we all know why that is, we'd be spending $1.86 million in the tight end room. And I don't think we will.
You don't think Randy Pittman cost 186?
I don't think Randy Pittman cost anywhere near that.
What was the median? It was like $300K for that?
No, that's the low end.
That was the low end?
Yeah, the median is $940,000.
Okay.
Yeah, for the room.
Well, you think about it. Amari Williams could be categorized one or two ways. Randy Pittman wasn't cheap. I can't imagine. Landon Thomas, Chase Lofton. I bet they spent money on Chase Lofton because Mike Norvell said that was the player that they wanted most in the signing day press conference. I'm sure that they opened.
Oh, I'm sure they opened it up, but man, that's a lot. By the way, so the high end in the NFL on your offensive line, give it up to the Panthers. They're building the right way. 34% of their cap money goes to their offensive line. They're building that way. The low end is the Bears, and Bears fans know that.
They do. Yes, they do.
Sweet Jesus, why do we spend so little money on our offensive line? But they went out this offseason and got a bunch of guys, 2 guys. So that'll go up next year when we look at these numbers.
Correct. Yeah, I wanted $24 because this year NFL teams are still making decisions on how they're going to spend their money. So that it's imperfect data. 24 is in the past. You can just kind of whittle it down to the dollar.
For Florida State, the equivalent would be nearly $6 million on the offensive line room, and I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be smart.
I hope in the near future that is the case. Then let's look at edge rusher, and then you'd look at defensive line. It's offensive line, defensive line, edge rusher, quarterback. I mean, I'm not talking about in particular order. Obviously, quarterback might be number one in most cases.
Well, and the top line, so if you had 85% of your budget was for football, which is what many national outlets speculate, people kind of understand the drill here. You're spending between 80 and 90% on football if you're a have. That means that Florida State would have in revenue share dollars 17.5, give or take, 17.5 million to split around the roster. So that's what you're trying to work with here.
You know what's tough is that I think most people hear that number and they say, fine, cool, good. Thanks for creating a baseline, Tom. Now we know. But the way I view it as a fan is, what is Florida spending on theirs? Who the teams we seek to compete against, what is their money that they're using? And you say, well, it's all the same, Jeff, because it's from the rev share at 20.5. But we know that it's supplemented with these outside deals, and they're going to hide money that the commission can't look at and judge as a fair or not fair NIL deal.
Yeah, exactly. And James B. asked that question in the chat. Where's the Battle's End money going? It's to supplement. And look, even the definition of what a collective can do is changing by the minute. Like they don't.
Well, and it may be
you've got executive orders, you've got state laws, you got federal laws, you've got college sports commission rules. I mean, they got 4 different people or 4 different groups in some states telling them 4 different things about what they can and cannot do as a collective. But right now, as it exists, as I understand it in the last couple of weeks, the way the Battle's End is working is they're trying to make sure that when you need something to push you over the finish line beyond the rev share, that's what the collective is going to be for.
It's an opinion, but it's an informed opinion. I believe that the Battle's End and collectives like the Battle's End will go from having 60, 70 contracts to having 15.
Yeah, big game hunting. Exactly.
This is where you'll go. You'll say, okay, look, we probably can't outduel Ohio State for this quarterback, but Mike really wants him, and he's going to spend maybe a high-end number this year of his rev share money on this quarterback because he thinks he can't miss. He's Jameis Winston. He's going to change who you are. What do we need to do to help out here? FSU can give him $3 million. What can we come up with? What kind of deal do we want to have with this player to get him to the number that he seeks, which is closer to $4 million?
Right, exactly. So I think when you look at what I did with the rev share stuff, that is the starting price in order to get you in the ballpark. And then, of course, every team will look at each individual season differently. Like, all right, well, we've got a lot of upperclassmen on offense this year, so let's invest higher on retaining these guys. So our rev share number on offense is going to be higher. The next year, all those guys leave for the NFL. All right, now we've got a bunch of juniors and seniors on defense. Let's make it move over here the next year. Yeah, the question is, all right, now that you have that money out of your 20.5, what could an organization like the Battle's End do to make sure that we get that kid from high school? And there's been conversation on the boards about this. The number one thing I'd love to see, and I'm sure collective bargaining is the way out because I think it is the magic bullet for this era that we live in. It took the NFL a decade and a half, 2 decades to get the salary, the rookie wage scale in order after the Sam Bradfords of the world cashed in, and the number 1 overall pick was the richest player on the team. They fixed that. If we could get it to where incoming freshmen are on a wage scale, that would really help everybody involved. But you would need
to do that until they're employees.
Yeah, you got to get collective bargaining involved.
Let's do some probables. Who's starting tonight in Major League Baseball? Well, I'll tell you who.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Blue Jays, Orioles. That's first place. Toronto Blue Jays. Chris Bassett goes for Toronto. The Orioles will throw Zach Eflin. Rockies, Guardians. Bradley Blaylock. Slade Ciccone goes for the Guardians. Cool name. D-backs, Tigers. Yeah, about that, D-backs. Pirates took 2 of 3 from you. You see the numbers again my man is dealing right now? 6 shutout innings yesterday for Paul Skeens. Struck out 9, walked 1. They finally, that's back-to-back wins and starts that Paul Skeens is making. He's going to get to maybe 10 wins and win the Cy Young.
Yeah, 10-8 with a 180 for the season.
It's unbelievable. Eduardo Rodriguez going for the D-backs. Tigers will throw Troy Melton. Rays, Yankees, Drew Rasmussen, Cam. Got to be careful here. Schlittler.
Oh, boy.
Schlittler is who's throwing tonight.
Smart. Well done.
Schlittler is who's throwing tonight for the Yankees.
In the late 90s, you wouldn't have done that. You would have just raced through it.
Yeah, I saw it coming. I was looking on the horizon. I went, ooh.
Wisdom.
I see it, Cam. Schlittler. Dodgers, Reds. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You'd think I lived in Japan. Chase Burns goes for the Reds. Red Sox, Twins. Richard Fitz. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Richard Fitz. Simeon Woods Richardson.
Nobel laureate.
Proper name. Facing Richard Fitz. Cubs, Brewers. Matthew Boyd. Jacob Mizorowski. He's good. Braves, Royals. Spencer Strider. Rich Hill. Braves are 44-60, everybody.
Oh, man, I'm close to cashing my under 93.5.
44-60.
It's almost mathematically a win.
Phils, White Sox. Christopher Sanchez, Davis Martin. Marlins, Cards. How about the Marlins, only 4 games under 500. What a fun team. Good for them. Edward Cabrera goes for the Marlins. Cardinals are going to throw Andre Palante. Nationals, Stros, Brad Lord, Framber Valdez. Rangers, Angels, Jacob deGrom.
I'd take it of you.
Jack Cockinowitz.
Cock in the wickets.
Mets, Padres, Frankie Montas, Dylan Cease. Late night, I could watch my boy, Mitch Keller.
Not just screwing Mitch Keller.
Pirates, Giants, Mitch Keller, Carson Wisenhunt. Mariners, A's, Luis Castillo, J.P. Sears, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Montas is throwing for the Mets. Maybe I didn't hear that.
You did hear it.
Okay.
Frankie Montas, Dylan Cease.
All right.
Good work out of you, sir. Thanks, everybody. It's good to be back. Tomorrow, Coach's Lunch, and we'll have plenty with you. And remember, it's the first hour will be the bonus hour, followed by 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Seminole headlines. Until tomorrow, have a lovely evening. Be well. Peace.